What's up, good people? I didn't even formally do my sound. I think the sound is good. Let me know if the sound is not good, but I think it's good. I'd like to thank everybody who's in the building right now. I see people already following in. Make sure you hit the like button as you make your way into the building. Trying to find my intro, but let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, got my intro ready to go. Like to again, thank you to everybody in the building. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. Oh man. That wasn't supposed to be there. All right, cool. Got everything set, ready to go. Game, set, match. We own and we in here. I like what Jack Nickelback said down there. 10 signs you aren't dating a simp. I like that. That was a good one. But shout out to everybody in the building. About to get this thing started. Do appreciate everybody coming in here. My last show on Sunday, I had an in-studio guest. I definitely enjoyed that, and it's all with all the beef and everything going on in here. It was crazy. It was something along the lines of, like, I looked up and it looked like O'Shea and Ramil, they both had like 600 live views going. I think Roger Report and Red Supreme had channels going. It was so much going on. It was so much going on to where, I was happy. I was happy I maintained 200 I had 200 live viewers in the midst of all of that beef going on. I was like, okay, I got some loyal supporters here. That's why I was like, I got some loyal supporters here, because it was going down real hard the last time I was on the air. It was going down real hard, and yeah, everybody was over there. Everybody was over there. But I appreciate everybody that was in the building. Shout out to the early bird squads, those that make it in bright and early before we even get things going. Slice and Dice says it's funny because deep down women want red pill men in real life. Everything they do and say shows that. Remember the 80-20 rule. I've always had my views on the 80-20 rule. I made a video a long time ago, more or less talking about it, breaking it down, how, well, yeah, I think even Obsidian been saying lately is not exactly scientific. But it does speak to the simple fact that we know we can confirm with our own eyes and have confirmed through um, different lines of data that, yeah, women are attracted and want a smaller percentage of men than what men want. I talk about all the time from an evolutionary standpoint. Dating, mating success for a man is having mating success for a male of any species is essentially impregnating as many females as possible. That's mating success for him. For a woman, the mating success is to be impregnated by the best male. The tricky part of that, and the manosphere does address the issue, is that who the best male is in a modern, westernized, industrialized, civilized 21st century may not be necessarily the best male that their genes and genetic hardwiring tells them it is. I so it's a touchy one. It's a touchy one. It's not touchy. Touchy is not the right word. It's more of a situation where, yes, I see what you're saying, Obsidian. It's more of a term of art, and that's what I want people to. I'm glad that you're acknowledging that and taking it that way, because people do need to look at it that way. That it is legitimately a term of art. It's not quantifiable. You can't really measure it. The only way that you can even find some type of scientific accuracy in it is if you define it in a very specific way. If you define it in a very specific way, you probably can, dig out some areas, some data points where it comes out to be accurate. But the general point that Slice and Dice is making is that yes, women, they do like red pill men. They are attracted to men who are more red pill, no doubt about that. And we're going to touch on that as we get through the article. But shout out to Logan JJ. He says, I hope, let me make that bigger so I can see it. Okay. He says, peace. I hope not accepting a woman's narcissistic behavior made the list. They didn't word it that way, but yeah, that was essentially on the list. It made the list. They didn't exactly word it that way, but it was essentially on the list. Shout out to Logan JJ. Shout out to Educated Lane in the building. Edward Anderson in the building. He says, oh yeah, this is going to be good. Absolutely. I'd actually like to hear you cover that, Ed, or definitely come on up when the panel opens up. Said a red pill man is a man that has his game together at the end of the day. And it depends on what you mean by having your game together. You could technically have your game together and and still do some stupid stuff. So I think it's broader than that. And shout out to he says, I hate when people try to draw a parallel between a man who's been with a lot of women and a woman who's been with a lot of men. Yep, we're definitely going to be getting into that. He says, I don't care. It's not the same. Both may be unhealthy, but it's still not the same. Absolutely not. And we really didn't make the rules on that. We didn't make the rules that if a man is able to get more women, he's viewed and seen as more, his value, his marketplace value goes up. We all have seen it and witnessed it, and it's data that proves it, that if a man wants to get more women, the way you get more women is get more women. You get one woman, you just get one woman. It increases your ability to get more women, and then you start getting more women, it increases your chances of getting more. We didn't make the rules on that. There's a lot of data points on that. A study that I did some content on earlier basically refers to the simple fact that women will actually hop in bed and have sex with a guy. They're far more likely to hop right in bed and have sex with a guy if they believe, or if they have good reason to believe, that this person has high sexual prowess, meaning he's known to put it down in the bedroom. They will be more likely to hop right in bed and have casual sex with him. But men, that doesn't matter. We're going to bust one every time we have sex, no matter what. They're not always going to bust one. So if they're going to get a not a body on their a body on their count on their notch belt, they want to make sure it counts. So they want to make sure that they're getting with this guy who has some type of high sexual prowess, who's viewed as that guy by other women, and like that's literally how it works for them. So that guy who's viewed as that, the women exalt him. Like men don't have that much to do with that. We didn't make that rule. The women do that. Men did not make the rules that says that a guy who can have sex with a lot of women is just that dude. We didn't make that rule. They did. Okay. And there's scientific reasons why we would naturally see a woman who's having sex with a lot of different men, and why we would see her as less valuable. It makes sense. It makes sense. We're hardwired through evolution to see her as less valuable. Uh, you think a lion sees one of his lioness who's just sleeping around with all the nomadic males, and now that cub, the cubs that he would kill once he kills the alpha male, he would kill the cubs. You think it's hardwired in him to see that as a problem if she's sleeping around with other nomadic roaming lions and potentially getting pregnant by them. She's potentially getting pregnant by them, so he don't know if that's his kid or not. Now we know when he knows it's not his kid, he kills it. But he's supposed to just let that lioness into his camp, not knowing if the offspring that are being produced is his. That's 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 being hardwired through evolution to be concerned about the survivability of your genes. Even if in a modern, westernized, civilized world, we don't operate like that. We don't think like that anymore. But it's still some hardwiring to where we can see it manifest in women seeing less, men seeing less value in a woman that has a particularly high body count. We can easily draw a line and see how there's parallels that can be how there's parallels and lines that can be drawn there. And we could take that same line that we're just looking at, just how mammals operate. Yes, the mammal, the alpha male of the group, who has sex with all the women. He's won that crown, and he's viewed as the most valuable. Like, we know what that is, we know how that is, and you can't. And then she tries to do that in the article and tries to basically equate a woman sleeping around to be the same as a man sleeping around. It's just not. It's just not. You can make a modern westernized argument as to why men should care less, and I've even moved on that. I won't say I've moved on that. I just naturally just got to the point. Me and Obsidian talked about this, and I feel like he was trolling me in the conversation, but some good points were still made. And he did a whole stream on it that I didn't watch that one, so I don't hold me to anything Obsidian said on the 3-hour live stream that I didn't listen to. But the fact of the matter is this: it's as simple as this. Most men in this modern time that manifests itself like this don't have a social reputation. Okay, don't show up with any emotional or physical baggage. Don't show up with other men's kids. Don't show up like that. Have a clean social record, and don't have another man's kids, and don't care to carry the emotional scars of whatever you was doing before we met. In that way, when it's like that, you really don't know. You can ask her the dumb question, so what's your body count? And then cross your fingers and hope that she's telling you the truth, but you never know. So that's why that social reputation thing is a big deal. And that's why women should guard their social reputation. And that's one of the reasons why ARC points out that they don't mind having sex with what he calls alpha males. I have my thoughts on the term alpha male, but I'm using ARC's language here. He says they don't mind having sex with alpha males because they know the alpha male sleeps around with a lot of women. He's not judgmental about it. So they know their reputation will be protected with some dude who sleeps around with a lot of women versus some guy who doesn't sleep around with a lot of women. They're far more likely, the guy who don't sleep around with a lot of women, he's more likely to kiss and tell. The guy who gets a lot, it's just like whatever, him another day at the office. So there's that. Yeah. So shout out to everybody in the building. I'm probably about to dig right into the article. had to pre-ramble. Oh, shout out to Mr. Negative the Negative Man, my in studio guest. And like I said, let me let me pull something up. Let me drop a oh shit. Shoot. Y'all didn't algorithm, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear me cuss algorithm. Ignore that. Um Let me drop real quick before I pull this article up. Google acting like it don't remember who I am. YouTube acting like it don't remember who I am. It wouldn't even bring. I had to type out the whole thing. What the hell is up with that? All right, all right. Dropping the link once again to my in studio guest who came through, drove in from Detroit. Appreciate that. Anybody in that Michigan area who wants to come kick it in studio, you know the door is open. You know the door is open. So shout out to him, Gail. You can. Oh, thank you for dropping my Instagram too. I see what you did down there, Gail. Thank you for dropping my gram on there. And you can drop Mr. Negative, the Negative Man's link as well. But all right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's dive into this article. Let's dive into this article. Y'all can see it right there. 10 signs you're dating a red pillar. 10 signs you're dating a red pillar. I like how she worded that. The reason is interesting the way that she worded that is because she worded it the same way that Aaron G. Fountain did. Aaron G. Fountain says red pillars all the time, and this article kind of reads a lot like what he's sort of like the way he typecasted it and everything. Okay, he says, I understand that, and that's cool. In Ramil's latest rants, though, he seems to think that any man not advocating for pumping and dumping isn't for the black man. Yeah, I'm staying out of it, man. But it seems like that. It seems like that. I won't blatantly say that because I didn't say it all, and it may be something in his rants that ultimately disprove what you said right there and what I kind of agreed with. But I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out. I'm staying out. There was some things. There was some things in there I heard that was legitimate, and there were some things in there that I did think was reaching. I do think you can criticize anything that any man says if you start with the premise that he's trying to save hoes. So when I heard that, I was like, so critique of women or setting the record straight on their nonsense that they're saying and refuting their bad arguments that they've been putting out in the airwaves for years, that's not trying to save hoes, that's setting the record straight. Shout out to Ed. Ed did a stream called Setting the Record. It's not trying to save them, it's setting the record straight or something like that. I didn't even watch it. But the title said enough. And that's where I'm at with that. So that's where some of the arguments I can't really lean with it and rock with it. But there are some things that he's saying that is definitely spot on, and I'm not even at liberty. I shouldn't even say it that much because I'm not at liberty to go through the list of what I think is spot on, and I'm not going to go through the whole list of where I think he's getting it wrong. So with that said, I'm getting out of it. Some men think that if you are not getting married, then that is not good. Yeah, the men who criticize men for not getting married, yeah, those men are equally wrong. A man choosing not to do a particular thing, a particular action, and he's, listen, the whole concept of one of the many concepts of the manosphere, black male sovereignty, is it not? So a man choosing to not get married, you can't criticize him for that. Now, if a man chooses to get married, you can criticize him because he's potentially he could easily be potentially making a mistake. But if you believe in black male sovereignty and black male choice and black men having all the information, and as long as he didn't feel like he was duty bound by the gynocracy to get married, but that's what he legitimately wanted to do for his own legitimate reasons, it's almost to the point where you could say, hey, that don't make no sense. I disagree with that, and keep it moving. But if you're truly for black men, I'll use the term going their own way. If you're going your own way, you're charting your own course. I'm not going to know. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm not going to redefine MGTOW. I'm not going to redefine MGTOW. I respect the choices of an individual man. I'll just say that. I respect the choices of an individual man. If you want to pump and dump until you're 90, I respect your choice to do that. If you want to get married at 35, I respect your choice to do that. Some debate could be had over whether or not one makes sense versus the other one. Nothing wrong with that debate, but I'm not breaking out the pitchforks on a brother who wants to get married. I'm not breaking out the pitchforks. We can have a sensible conversation about what that entails, what challenges he's going to have, the areas where he's going to be vulnerable, vulnerable for attack. But we can have a discussion about that. But no, I'm not breaking out the pitchforks on it. I'm not breaking out the pitchforks on it. All right, let's dig into this article. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the building. There's going to be another one. It's going to be another one of those where the numbers ain't quite right. There's going to be another one of those where the numbers ain't quite right, but we sojourn on through. Appreciate everybody that's in the building. Looking at the article, I don't even got it blown up big enough to where y'all could see it. I did drop the link to it earlier, but terpers. Have y'all heard of the term terpers? This is a new one on me. I didn't know terpers was a thing. She said the article starts off saying terpers, also known as red pillars. Like that's literally what it says right out the gate in the article. Terpers, also known as red pillars. Are y'all aware that red pillars are called terpers? I didn't know that. That's a brand spanking new one. Yes, okay. And saying one is the first one to say what? Yeah, it literally says that. Let me make it bigger for y'all. Y'all know I'm not making it up. Let me make it bigger. Terpers, also known as red pillars, are not good people. Here are the warning signs you're dating a red pillar and need to dump him. Okay, I'm looking in the chat, and thus far, nobody has ever heard of that name. I'm leaning towards the notion that she made it up. Even Obsidian, never heard of it. Obsidian says it must be a white manosphere thing. Must be a white manosphere thing. I have no idea. I have never heard of that term. Ever. Not even almost. Not even almost. This was a brand spanking new one on me. But anyway, terpers, also known as red pillars, are not good people. And when I start my show, when I be like, "What's up, good people?" Because in my mind, we are good. We are good people. I do actually look at it like that. I do. That's why I say that. People that disagree with us, I think, are bad people. Here are the warning signs you're dating a red pillar and need to dump him. Let's see. Let me make that bigger for me. Okay. Once in a blue moon, people will see a philosophy that is so toxic it's incompatible with having healthy relationships. It's rare, but it happens sadly. It also happens with increasing frequency now that most people get their love and life advice from the internet. That was the first disingenuous thing that she said, because truth be told, a lot of women get their life and relationship advice from the internet. They've been getting it from there for years. I can reel off article after article where they've made all those. This ain't their first top 10 list. They always say top 10 ways to get a guy to fall in love. Top 10 ways to do the top 10. They constantly getting all their relationship advice and everything off the internet. So, but it's a problem with men, learning learning the game, learning about how women operate, learning the things to watch out for when it comes to women, learning how to be more in control, learning how to be more in control and on top of your game and getting the outcomes that you want that may not line up with the outcomes that they claim that they want, but whatever. Men finding out about that, it's a over the top bad thing. But she says the red pill, which was originally a forum started on Reddit. Did anybody know if that's true? I pretty confident that that's not true. It might be. Who the hell knows? But far as I know, it didn't start. It didn't start on Reddit. It's one of those kinds of philosophies known for being misogynistic and hateful towards women. The red pill exposes ideas that advocate for grape. She already went there. She already went there right out the gate. Claims that women only want men who have money. Now she's doing the Aaron G. Fountain thing right now, making it that bold. That claims that women only want men with money. No, that's nobody says that's the only thing that they want. See, in red pill communities, we have a healthy understanding that women are attracted to resources. And we don't trip about that. We understand what that is and why that is. The only men who truly complain about that is one, men who either don't got money and ain't trying to get money. Those are men who truly complain about that. Now it gets acknowledged and it gets talked about, and we may break it down and talk about it, but we also talk about how, if a woman, some women, yeah, they would like a man with money, but they would like a man for whatever random superficial thing. It's eye color, it's all kind of stuff that they like men for. So it's goofy to even go there. But anyway, it also maintains a strong belief that women are inferior and unable to determine what they want. That women are inferior and unable to determine what they want. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on that. Coach Ali in the building, he says not to steer away from the topic, but you got to check out Ted Montana's When You Get Down to ATL for the meetup. I had a bison steak for the first time there. And it slapped. That must be I don't know where that term came from, and it slapped. But shout out to Coach Ali in the building. Shout out to Coach Ali in the building. He said he had a bison steak and it slapped. I don't even know what that means. It slapped. That's a new one on me. I'm learning new stuff every day. But shout out to you. Thank you for coming through with the $20 super chat. Now, I think I did see somebody drop a super chat that I somehow missed. He said, BR a 6-footer like me. We got the tall pill. Dating is easy. You see, you know what? Being tall matters. I remember when I was on Tinder, if a chick would ask the height or whatever, and I would say 6'1", and then she would, drop like the smiley face, heart in the eyes emoji. So yeah, it's no doubt that being tall helps, but it don't make it easy. You could be tall and not be verbally skilled, or you could be tall and just be kind of awkward, or tall or not that good looking. Like you still gotta have some game and some know-how about yourself. You still gotta have some game and some know-how about yourself. So it's not, I don't that's where we get, see, when you make statements like that, you open the door for them to make blanket statements. You open the door for the detractors to just make a blanket statements that they think that just if you're tall, then you're going to get all the women. And that's why they complain about women, because they're all short. But being tall guarantees sex. They believe that being tall guarantees sex. Nah, I will admit that if you take me and you shrink me down to 5'5", and I go out on the dating market, that I do believe I would have got I got better results at 6'1" as what I would get at 5'5". But it still just wasn't an easy roll out the red carpet because I'm over 6 feet. You just got to walk outside and you're just a 6 foot tall magnet to women. Like nah. It took a little work, a little know how, took a little work. Thank you again, Gail Lockett, dropping the Instagram on there. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate that. Where was I at? Oh yeah, I was going over an article. Going over an article. They also maintain a strong belief that women are inferior and unable to determine what they want. All the we're gonna prove right here in this same article. I want y'all to put a pin in that statement. JB says you can be a tall cornball. Yeah, you can. You can. But no, watch how she's going to prove that statement in this article. She's going to prove that statement that women are unable to determine what they want. As far as the inferiority thing, no, there are some things that men are superior at and some things that women are superior at. We obviously know and understand that things that are more commonly associated with men or masculinity, men are typically better at it than that. You can get some women that may can perform at the level of men when it comes to certain events, certain things. When it comes to mathematics or physical activity, yes, of course. But in general, men are better at that. And there are some feminine things that women are better at. Like we know and understand that. We always have nuanced conversations about that. So again, it's that a deliberate attempt to try to typecast us as something. We know where the we know the areas where men outperform women. We know what those areas are. Like we don't even have to go back and forth about that. We know what those areas are. And we also know that women want to be with a man who does outperform her in those areas. The whole term, I want a man that makes either the same amount of money as me or more. Those things. Obviously, you want the man that you're with to be taller. You want him to be smarter. You want him to make more money. You want him to be physically superior, intellectually superior, economically superior, and you like men who have high social status. You literally just describe somebody that's better than you in every area. But then when men talk about what it is that women want, how dare he try to say that men are superior, but you want a superior man? It's, it's a crazy thing. Simply put, it's a forum that regularly advocates for mental, physical, and emotional abuse as ways to control women. Dating a red pillar, or as they're also called, terper. Never heard of that term. Never heard of that term. Just want to restate again. Never heard of that term. Is a good way to become a victim of domestic abuse. Like she's going all the way in. She going for Goldie Jones on it. She going full Goldie Jones on it. Anyone who believes in sex positivity, feminism, or even wants to have a healthy relationship will tell you to avoid red pill men. Okay. Forgive me. I gotta clip my nose hairs or something. Yeah, I need to sneeze or something. Something is going on with my nose. I apologize. Anyone who believes in sex positivity, she's basically saying any woman who wants to be a whore and not be criticized, any woman who wants to have a lot of sex and not be criticized. That's what she's saying right there. Feminism, and as we know, and as we've proven multiple times on this show with live subjects, with the live subjects, we've ultimately proven that what they want, that what they ultimately want is an unfair advantage. Men's rights aren't advocating for unfair advantage. Feminism ultimately is advocating for an unfair advantage. When I had a feminist on here, I asked him, when men were not overpopulating, when men were the majority of the college campus, and you know, men made up, let's say, 60% of the college campus, and women made up 40%. You saw that as a societal problem that needed to be corrected, right? He said, absolutely. I said, okay, well, right now it's about 60-40. Right now, do you see that as a societal problem that needs to be corrected? He said, excuse me. He said, no. He gave a flat out no. That's not a societal problem that needs to be corrected. We don't need to do anything to swing the pendulum back in the other way. It just is what it is. So if men are outperforming women, then they got to, society needs to do something to correct that. If women are outperforming men, even if society did some things to make it that way, society doesn't need to do anything to correct that. That is a victory. That is a clear case of them wanting the advantage on their side. But then when you talk about, again, when they describe the type of man that they want, it quite often is a man who's overperforming and outperforming. And then they're talking about, but then they'll still talk about a dating and a mating crisis. So it's like they want to do better, they want to be up there, they want to be the top of the top, but then complain about a dating crisis. But then you go back to the beginning of the article when they say that men think that women have no idea what they want. Well, yeah. The contradictory, conflicting articles and views from women, and see if it was like different camps of women that argued with each other. No, these are quite often the same camps of women producing the same type of articles. Here there are different camps, and men disagree with each other, and they argue and they fight, as we know, as we can see, as we can see. There are different camps where men disagree with each other and they argue and they fight. These women are not arguing and fighting over that. There's no army of women saying, no, we need men to outperform and be better so these men can be the men that ultimately end up taking care of us. And so you women over there, you're wrong for trying to do anything to get men to be lessened and you to be raised up. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. Moving on with the article. Hit the like button if you're in the building. Let me see if I don't see. I haven't even hit the like button. I haven't even hit the like button. Let me go and hit that like button. Anyone who believes in sex positivity. Okay, I already read that. I don't know why Terry Crews is featured on there. I didn't click on this video, but yeah, she's promoting Terry Crews. Let's stop and think about this real quick. We see Terry Crews on the screen right there. They're in full support of Terry Crews, right? They're in full support of Terry Crews. How many women, if their man came home and was a bit emotional and said, my boss at my job, he grabbed not even a boss, because this man wasn't really a boss. I mean, he was an executive, but Terry Crews didn't work directly for him. So let's just say this guy who was like a supervisor in another department. This guy I work with, who was a supervisor in another department, he grabbed my testicles and it made me feel bad. How many women are going to look at their man as lesser for that? Like, really? I tend to believe the majority of them would say they would a weak punk ass man who's complaining and crying about his testicles getting grabbed by another man. I tend to believe that's how most women are going to view that man, but then they will still champion him. They will champion Terry Crews, okay? They will get behind him, like, yeah, absolutely. So he's the feminist guy. Like he's the guy that the feminists like to parade around. He was in that Gillette sellout commercial. He's like, men need to hold men accountable. He was in there doing that. So they would champion a guy like this, but they know good and well a man that they're with, a man who they view as masculine, a man who they view as the man who has to protect them. If he come home crying because his testicles got grabbed by another man, that relationship is over. The relationship is over. And they know it's over. So why would they even parade him around like they actually got an ounce of respect for him? Why? How does that make any sense at all? It's like the stuff they do is just ridiculous. Speaking from someone who's encountered plenty of them, it can take a keen eye to see the signs you're dating one of these people. Here are some of the obvious ones. One of the most obvious signs that you're dating a red pillar is his attitude towards the opposite sex. Red pillars don't see women as equals. Because you're not. No, red pillars don't see women as equals, and in many cases won't even see them as real people with feelings. Okay. Eh. All right, I'm just going to move. I want to get to the list. So I don't even want to get bogged down talking about that. Most of the time, red pill users will accidentally let their beliefs about women slip through casual conversation. They may say things along the lines of, women don't really like men unless they're a millionaire. I already kind of addressed and touched this. Like, that is ridiculous. I mean, some people will say that women don't like men unless they're making six figures. That's been all the wave lately, ever since Kevin Samuels blew up. Everybody's been talking about that. The six-figure man replaced the Pookie and Ray Ray in some of these conversations. But some of these conversations can be a bit contrived and driven by what's hot in the algorithm. So I do like to take the step back, pump the brakes, and criticize us a little bit when we start doing that, and then some men start making blanket statements, sort of like how the gentleman said that being over 6 feet makes it easy. It's easy out on the dating market when you're over 6 feet. That's not necessarily true, but it definitely helps. But nobody argues that women don't really like a man unless they're a millionaire. Like this, she literally said that that's what's being said. That's absolutely true. But that's number one on the list. Women don't really like a man unless he's a millionaire. Goes back to the disproven red pill belief that women are hypergamous. Now she's saying that there's some she's saying that women being hypergamous is disproven. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Now, men who are red pill, who understand women's nature, don't complain about women being hypergamous. They're supposed to be. I talked about the science earlier, that they want to get with the best mate, but are they the best judges of what's the best mate for them? No. Sometimes if a guy could tap into their emotions in some type of way, then he's the best guy for that night. He can have nothing but ill intentions for him. So I mean, it's so it gets goofy when they try to say stuff like that. You know, red pill belief that women are the disproven red pill belief that women are hypergamous. I would love to know where that's been disproven, though. I would really love that one. That women will only be attracted to people who have higher social status or larger paycheck than they do. Do we not? Again, do we not see women all the time on a very regular basis saying that they want a man who makes what they make or more? They say that on a regular basis. So when men point that out, they try to then essentially say that they make it seem like we made it up. We didn't write the articles about the mating crisis. We didn't write the articles about the economically unattractive men. We didn't write those articles. That's not our work. That's y'all work. We like, come on. Like, that's where they get goofy. And then when you go back to the other part of the article, which you said that, and they think that women are incapable of figuring out what it is that they want. Yeah, y'all proving it. Y'all are proving it. They said, they saying that red pillars think that women are unable to determine what they want. Yeah, you're proving it. You're proving it. Okay. Number 2 on the list. Number 2. You're so emotional. Why do women have to be so sensitive? I don't know of anybody ever saying that. Ironic as it may be, the angry men of the red pill tend to project their own sensitivities onto women. This is also a common tactic abusers use in order to minimize their wrongdoing. So that should tell you plenty. She made that one up. She made that one up. You're so emotional. No, we talk about all the time that women are more emotional. They filter their logic through their emotions. We talk about that. So, any guy that's saying to a woman, "You're so emotional," it's like he's talking like he's shocked that she's emotional. No, here we have understanding that they're emotional and they're not going to be as logical. So like right there out the gate, she's not making sense right there. She slept with someone. Sorry, I can't marry that. You see how you see the straw man nature of how she worded it. She slept with someone. This is number three. She slept with someone. Sorry, I can't marry that. As if guys are saying that the reason, there's plenty of reasons why guys don't want to marry women, but the reason isn't because she had sex with one person. We don't live in Baghdad. Like that's not what's going on. No guy is saying that. But anyway, slut shaming is a key component of the red pill philosophy. They have serious double standards when it comes to women. They can have sex as much as they want, but if a woman gets laid, it's bad news for them. Okay? We did not create that. Okay? We didn't make that rule. We didn't. I remember because I live in Saginaw, Michigan. Okay, Saginaw High School. Yeah, talked about the story before. Charles Rogers, who was drafted number three in the NFL draft, and I believe 2003 or 2004. Okay, he would have. Well, no, probably about 2003, maybe 2002. Who knows? Who knows? Sometime back then. I know he graduated in 2000. It was a thing where somebody had pointed out. He says, "You're not really from Saginaw unless Charles Rogers has had sex with at least two women or one. Unless Charles Rogers has had sex with a woman that you truly loved." And it was a true statement. Every guy could bring up a woman that they really liked, and they had to acknowledge, yeah, when I was pursuing her, breaking out all the tricks, all my best stunts. Yeah, Charles Rogers just um, had sex with her in the closet, in the closet in the damn in the biology room. Like I mean, like for real. His status was just through the roof. His status was through the roof, and this was going all the way back before it was even known that he automatically known that he was going to be drafted to the NFL. He was just that dude. He was just that dude. Yeah, being an athlete definitely helped him with the ladies, but men didn't make the rule that the mere fact that like when it comes to his sexual prowess, his sexual access, yeah, women exalted him. We didn't make that rule. We didn't make that rule. They did. They did. They lined up and waited in line to have sex with him. Like it's not an understatement to say that he had sex with every woman and every girl in that school that he wanted to. He literally had sex with every woman in that school that he wanted to. Okay. So we didn't make the rule that essentially says that a man value increases when he can get sex from a lot of women and a woman value goes down when she's having sex with a lot of men because it's easy for women to have sex with a lot of men and any woman can do it. Every man can't have sex with a lot of women, not like at a Charles Rogers level. So yes, there's a value increase on the market for him. The thing that's easy that every woman can get, there's a value decrease if you're getting something easy that everybody can get. We didn't make that rule. And I talked earlier about the biology behind it. I talked earlier in the show about the biology behind it. There's scientific reasons where we're hardwired to view things the way that we do. But women can stop it right now. They can stop it right now. I'm not requesting that they do. I'm not asking that they do. But the fact of the matter is, if a guy has that kind of access, women see him as more just more as he has more sexual value to them. He has more value out on the market. His value goes up. Find out a guy who you know slept around with a lot of different guys, has been data to prove it, that they're more likely to hop right in bed and have sex with that guy. It just is what it is. We didn't make that rule. Y'all live by that rule. We acknowledge it, and now we're wrong. Any one of those chicks that he was having sex with, if he would have wanted to make one of them his committed monogamous girlfriend, they would have said yes. They would have said yes. That's y'all fault. That's y'all fault. The chick that got ran through by the whole football team, if she say, "Okay, I'm ready for one of you guys to be my boyfriend," and we say no, So the point that I'm making is that they're equally participating in the game of men can sleep around and not take a social hit, and women can sleep around and take a social hit if they want to. And women can sleep around and they take a major social hit. If they want to change that, then don't ask us to not give a woman a social hit because she's sleeping around with a lot of guys. No, stop exalting a guy socially because he's sleeping around with a lot of guys. Like they could easily just say, "Oh no, this guy he slept around with one of my friends and he slept around with this girl and that girl and that girl and that girl. No way I'm going to have sex with him." They could do that, but they don't. So they're complicit in the game. Here we go with number 4 on the list. It says, not all men do bad things. True, but almost all women have experienced that. Red pillars can't stand that truth. No, we love that truth because it proves a lot of red pill talking points that most women are dealing with a small percentage of men. So do you see how number 3, number 4, her number 3 ultimately explains number 4, and she doesn't even see that. She's in number 3, she's complaining about women not being able to sleep around and ultimately taking a social hit when they sleep around. Okay. I pointed out and I respond to that by saying that, yeah, a woman who gets around, a woman who sleeps around with a lot of guys, then yeah, she's gonna. I'm sorry, running out of spit here. Running out of spit. What was I saying? Number 3 contradicts number 4. Okay. If we understand that the smaller percentage of guys can really sleep around like that, and we understand that women exalt the guy that can get a lot of sex and his value does not increase from getting all of that sex, and then when women say that every woman has had that experience, is because every woman is dealing with a smaller percentage of men. And when you're dealing with a small percentage of men, let's just say that the thing is, men don't call back after they have sex. Well, if all 100 of y'all had sex with one guy, then yes, that one guy didn't call y'all back. If y'all 100 of y'all would have had sex with 99 different guys, then chances are I would have called back. I know I'm in that category, and I was never starved when it came to sexual access, but I was still just that dude that, hey, if a woman gave me some fast, if I took a woman out on one date or we went out for drinks and we had sex that night and went nothing wrong with her. The sex was good. She didn't do nothing like she didn't like fart during sex or anything. Chances are I wanted to do it again. Chances are. And I wasn't starved for sex, but I just wasn't that confident that I could just completely ignore her and go out there the next night and get a fresh new piece of action. No, it take a little work. It take a little work to build up, build up a rostrum. That does take some work. I wasn't that dude to where I just had that quick turnaround rate, hands down, fast, quick, easy, no matter what. I didn't have that. No, it took a little work. So if I had access to a woman and she looked good and everything was on and popping, yeah, I came back for more. And uh I'm I'm a 6'1" good looking guy, as they say. But no, but but even then, a decent looking 6-footer still has a mindset of, hey, me and a woman have sex. I want to have sex again. This is a small percentage of guys who they get that sex from a woman and they just like whatever on hit it one time and then because they confident they're going to go out and get something brand new within the next couple days. Only a smaller percentage of guys got it like that. Smaller percentage of guys got it like that. So to what they're saying, in the article, not all men do bad things. True, but almost all women have experienced that. Red pillars can't stand that truth. No, we love that truth because it proves something that we always said, that a lot of y'all will willfully be hoes for a small percentage of men who y'all feel worthy of being a hoe for. So it's not a shock to us that y'all have a very consistent experience. That's not shocking for us. He constantly talks about men's right but decries feminism. There's nothing wrong with wanting equal rights for all genders, but we proved on this show multiple times that that's not what feminism wants. They want unfair advantage. We've proven that multiple times. But there is something wrong with wanting more rights for one gender, and we proved that feminism ultimately wants that. There are more rights for one gender than what there are to others. That's the issue that people have with men's rights. I would love for her to explain how she wants men to have more rights, and I would love for her to explain what rights do women have, what rights do women not have that men have. We can clearly explain some things that women got that men don't got. We can clearly explain that, and we've broken that down 7 ways to Sunday. Men's right activists actively ignore the facts when it comes to systemic oppression of genders that aren't their own. They don't see that men have rights that women don't. In fact, many men will go so far as to see other genders as the enemy. I think feminism launched and been doing that goes without saying here. Feminists see men as the enemy. Men's rights activists, if you really break down the nuts and bolts of what they want, a lot of them are traditional conservatives who want marriage in families and want to see more marriages in families. They want to see the genders work better together. That's just a brute fact of reality. That's the reason that they engage in the slut shaming and all of that, or sex positivity, as she said. The vast majority of red pill men see women as an enemy or something to control. Yeah, but here we go again with them being contradictory. They like a man to be in control. They like a man to be firm. If a man, I'll get into that later. This belief clearly adds to the foundation of a toxic relationship. You can't really love someone you hate or see as an enemy on principle alone. All right, all right. If there's something that the red pill teaches, it's to be aggressive when pursuing women. Now, again, here, here's another problem with this. Okay, here's another blatantly obvious problem with this. If we're talking about men not being aggressive when pursuing women, most men know that when you're pursuing women, if you show any timidness, any lack of aggression and confidence, your chances are going to decrease. And women say that all the time. They say, "Oh, I like a man to be confident and in control and knows what he wants and knows what he's doing." But then look at the type of stuff that they're right. Like, who are they appealing to? It seems as if they technically they're just ultimately hoping that there's some blue pill men out there who perhaps maybe, are looking at articles like this to say, let me see, what is it that women want? What do women really want? And some blue pill guy's going to read the article and then come away and say, like, they're simply trying to neuter, declaw men, so to speak. That's essentially what this is going to do. But again, I go back to the type of man that they want is somebody who is aggressive and in control when pursuing women. On the surface, this may seem like a good thing. It could help shyer guys ask women out on a date. When put in practice, it gets very ugly. This is how sexual assault, oh my goodness. So teaching a man to be a little more aggressive and confident is going to lead to sexual assault. Okay. This is how sexual assault happens. And sadly, one of the signs you're dating a red pillar is that he doesn't understand that consent matters, or he may think that 50 no's and a yes is still a yes. Either way, it's sexual abuse. Okay. That was nonsense, but I'm keeping it moving, keeping it moving. Because I did a whole I don't want to digress too long because I did a whole stream on the women who come to your house, get half naked, get in the bed and look tank top and some little shorts or panties or whatever, laying down in the bed sideways with their butt pushed up on your junk, and you try forward and they say no, then you try again and they say no. Like, I had a chick do that to me. Like, I was trying, although it was like damn near 3 a.m. Probably came over at 12. It's 3 a.m. After so long of trying, I just said, forget it. I'm just going to sleep. And then as soon as she looked over and saw that I gave up and was just trying to go to sleep, she was like, oh, well, I'm ready to go. It's like she wanted to be there as long as I was trying to get it. But the second I quit trying, now she's ready to go. It's like just playing nonsensical games with the thing. So and then that's happened multiple times where we did end up where the woman was playing that same game and we ended up having sex. But she's saying that that's still sexual abuse, even though they played the no, not yet game. That's still sexual abuse. It's not consent. As if you. All right, that's a joke. That's a joke. Though Red Pill promises to give me a peace of mind and better sense of confidence, it does anything but it turns men into bitter, angry, insecure, hateful people. In most cases, men will eventually cast anger outward, usually taking it out on family members. What? It's like this couldn't be more of a hit piece. Oh my goodness. That one is just laughable. All right. He's using terms that are associated with the red pill. Now that I don't like. That I don't like. You shouldn't be doing that. Red pill users have their own little vocabulary that they use to discuss their dating lives as well as the lifestyle the forum suggests living. They may start using terms like alpha, beta, cuck, plate. Plate? I mean like plate spinning, hitting the wall, or gynocentric. Here's the deal with that. Now, it is a such thing. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Freedman's Journal. Shout out to Freedman's Journal. He said, vote against welfare. Men need custody. End for-profit pregnancy. Defund single mothers. I think that says number. Yeah, I can't even see that because something is blocking that on the screen. I can't see what that says at the bottom. I can't see that at the bottom. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Hope I didn't miss nobody else's super chat, but I do appreciate everybody in the building. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for a second, that whole using the language. Oh, Jack Nickelback said ADOS section 8. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's talk about that for a second. You shouldn't be using the lingo when you're dealing with women, you're talking with women. Now, I just talked about myself. I'd always tell my experience and my stories of, not having game or whatever. But it is a true sign of having little to no game if you're using the dialogue and the lingo when you're out dealing with a woman. Like you're showing your cards real bad right there. No, JB, that wasn't glasses. That wasn't a good glasses situation. It was something was blocking it. You had to be in here and see it on my end. There was something blocking it because when I blew it up and made it bigger, well, I blew it up and made it bigger probably because I did need glasses, but I blew it up and made it bigger, and that made a caption. That made something pop up on my screen that didn't allow me to see it. Freedman's Journal. Shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. Funny that you commented, JB, because this do remind me of you. One of your most epic lines you ever said. And listen, when the whole Myron and Fresh and Fit fiasco happened, I didn't have that much criticism for them as a lot of people did. I didn't have that much criticism for them. But one thing that I did I did criticize the hell out of Myron when the chick said something along the lines of why should I blah 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 with you or something, I don't know. And he said, because pretty women are everywhere and high value men are rare, and therefore that you he basically did he talking point he hit her with talking points. He talking pointed her to death in that conversation. And I'm like, who the hell does that in live conversation trying to get with a chick? Who does that and why? Why? And JB pointed out that's like if a chick says, "Hey, why didn't you call me back?" and you respond with, "Because I have an abundance mindset." you don't you don't do that. You don't do that. So the dudes, like, let's just say if a chick asks you to drop her off at your house or drop, you know, uh, this is a real story. O'Shea told a story like this. He said some chick asked him to get in his car. I think drive would amount to 45 minutes to an hour just to pick her up and drive her 5 minutes around the corner to drop her off somewhere. He found out later that he was dropping her off at another dude's house. So if a woman asks you to do something stupid like that, you don't say, "No, I'm not doing it because I'm not some beta cuck." No, you just don't do it. You don't have to explain the talking points to her. You don't have to hit her upside the head with red pill talking points. You can just say no and move the hell on. So I, if dudes are out there doing that, they need to stop. They need to stop. There's one thing I will give her some. I don't know if it's true, but I will give her some lenience in this article. If they are doing that, they need to stop. You should not be hitting chicks over the head with talking points. In no way, shape, or form, you should be doing that. That is just a huge no no. Just have the information, process the information, move forward based off the knowledge that you have. That, yeah, if you do something stupid, like ask you to get in your car, drive an hour to pick her up, to take her 5 minutes around the corner and drop her off at somebody's house, there's a possibility that you might be dropping her off over some dude house who don't have a car. That's a possibility. It's a possibility that your name may be free ride or free food in her phone. It's a possibility. You just know that information and move accordingly. In many cases, they also will shrug off things by having, "Hey, all women are like that." And we have some debate about the all women thing. Okay. I say it myself, everything is on a bell curve. This is a classic red pill phrase. She goes on to say this is a classic red pill phrase that they use to try to make it sound like your negative reaction to abuse isn't their problem, even when it is. What the hell? She's like, she's just pulling stuff out at this point. He refuses to spend a single cent for you. Okay, there's some dudes in the red pill who don't believe you spend money on them, and that is cool. I've done the just invite them to your house game, the coffee date game, the take them out for drinks game, and what I have found is I've spent more money on dates with women I didn't have sex with than the amount of money I spent pursuing the women that I did end up having sex with. So that's just my personal experience with that. The Mac the Trucker in the building. The Mac the Trucker in the building says, go up. Says, go up to a chick and say, "We live in a patriarchy and matriarchy." See what happens. Yeah. let's let's do that. Let's see what's the worst talking point you could just walk up to a chick and throw at her. That's funny. Part of the reason I'm having a hard time seeing that is because, oh wait, no, that's still smaller. I can't make that bigger. Oh damn. Okay. Oh well. Whatever. Yeah, that's funny. Walk up to a chick and say, "We live in a patriarchy and matriarchy," and see what happens. Man, man. Let's see what else we got in here. He equates sex with success because it is. Getting sex is success for a man because anything that you're doing with a woman prior to having sex with her, she's potentially wasting your time. You don't know if she's not wasting your time and two, she has sex. You see, they want to reserve the right to be able to have a man around them doing stuff for them, whether it's spending money or spending time and attention. Shout out to ARC. They want that ability for them to be able to ultimately do that and then reserve the right to stop it and end it at any moment without giving up the sex, which, truth be told, they do have the right to do that. But a man should be a cost benefit analysis calculator and understand that he is not benefiting from this in the way that he would like to benefit from it, because he didn't approach you because he wanted to um, take long walks through the park to hear your opinion on some reality show or something, or some opinion about a reality show. That ain't why he pursued you, just to talk to you and chop it up. And every time that he talked to you and chop it up, it's costing him money. If it's costing him money every time he got to see you and he's not having sex, are you going to seriously knock him for not viewing the sex as a success? Sex is success for men. Now, women, obviously, for obvious reasons, will not view it that way. They're not going to view it that way because for them, sex is easy. It's sort of like when me and Game Changer did the stream, and the guy was on the street with a microphone and a camera asking women questions. He asked her, "Is it harder for men or women to acquire sex?" And her response, she was just dumbfounded and said, "Acquire?" Like she couldn't explain it. She could not explain what he meant by acquire sex. Like what he because that's like asking somebody, how do you acquire oxygen? Or is it easier for men or women to acquire oxygen? It was like asking her that question. And she was just like, she did not understand the question. Now men obviously understand the question because we have to go out and acquire sex and make it happen. So obviously, for obvious reason, they're not going to view something as success if it's as easy as getting water out the kitchen sink. If something is as easy for you as just going to get a cup and just going to the kitchen sink, turning the faucet and getting water, you're not going to view it as success. It's not that easy for most men. So yes, men, we view that as a success. Is what it is. Deal with it. Here's the thing about being red pill. This is her explanation about equating sex to success. Here's the thing about being a red pillar that most people don't want to admit. The red pill isn't for men who are healthy and happy. It's for men who are sad, insecure, weak, and lonely. Nonsense. There are plenty of men who are healthy and happy and dealing with women and getting sex from women, and they use their red pill knowledge and understanding to protect themselves and also increase their access and opportunities, quality and quantity of the women that they deal with. So nonsense. If they were happy with the way life was going, they wouldn't need to look up this kind of advice online. So, like we said before, women have been writing articles for years. Top 10 ways to get a guy to fall in love. Top 10 ways to make him not view you as this. Top 10 ways to do. So, are you saying that women are are just these horrible? What did she say? Sad, insecure, weak, and lonely. I wonder, does she say that to any woman who's reading any article or magazine or watching The View or watching anything to give her any type of advice or tips on how to better manage and navigate the whole entire dating game? Would she describe them as sad, insecure, weak, or lonely? I wonder, would she do that? So part of being able to stop the red pill from spreading is giving men a happy life. Oh, now you said something truthful. Part of being able to stop the red pill from spreading is giving men a happy life and showing them that they don't need to lash out at others. Okay, this is going to make red pill about lashing out at others. We're going to ignore that. But part of stopping the red pill from spreading is giving men a happy life and showing. Yeah, you could just stop it right there. Yeah, men get a happy life, then yeah, there'd probably be less men discussing these things. But even if men, by and large, were living happy lives, I still think the information still needs to be spread throughout and spread, you know, quite what's the word I'm looking for? It's valuable. The information is valuable. Men giving men information, sharing notes, cross-referencing each other ideas, the collection of the minds, meeting of the minds. It, it shocks me that they, well, it doesn't shock me, but it shocks me that they're somehow dumb enough to not see that what they're doing is obviously see-through. That anything that helps men be in any advantage towards women, you want to depict it as abusive. And I'm saying advantage, I'm talking about advantage in dating, mating relationships, and just overall interactions with women. Any game that men are giving other men is seen as abuse. One of the final signs of dating the red pillar deals with his attitude towards sex. Does he seem like he sees it as an indicator of success or as a way to dominate women? It depends on what you're into. If so, there's that word again, terper, and he needs to be going. I don't know where that word terper came from. I don't know where that word came from. All right. And this article was written by Jessica X. What the hell? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. what, what if? All right, I can put the link in the chat. That would be funny as hell. Damn, all y'all like that one. That would be funny. That would be funny. The link is dropped. And Snuggles, don't be telling me drop the link. I dropped the link before you said it. Whenever you say drop the link, I make it a point to not drop it for, an extended period of time. So don't come in here trying to tell me what to do. Come here trying to tell me what to do. But no, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. And I'm going to give it a little bit. Going to give it. RM says, "Ain't I a sneaker?" Huh? I don't know why. StreamYard changed something. Okay. Ain't I a stinker? What are you talking about? Why are you suggesting that you're a stinker? I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Captain Cisco says, "Where is Jessica S?" She periodically. Why y'all telling me glasses? It's not okay. Okay, I understand why y'all telling me glasses. It's not glasses right now. It's something going on. It's like in StreamYard, it's like the the screen, the part of the screen that shows me is like extremely small and everything else is big. And when I zoom, it makes my screen smaller. It makes everything else bigger. And I don't know how to fix that problem. That's from Bugs Bunny. Read it from first person. Ah, okay. Gotcha. I did not get the Bugs Bunny reference. In my own lane, said, "Fiend, see, you finally got your camera together." Well, I got 3 cameras in here. I got one of them together. The other ones I'm still working on. The other ones I'm still working on. I want to get them right before I start having people regularly in studio. That's the type of show that I ultimately want to do. Before I start having people regularly in studio, I do want to get all of them together to be performing somewhat like this. But no, this one definitely got this one together. Definitely got this one together. I'm hella hella slow at learning some of this stuff when it comes to camera work and all of that. It's a tedious task. It's a tedious task. But the link is in the chat. Shout out to holy crap. All right, Young Dolph in the building. That name, Young Dolph, and that picture does not match. That just doesn't match. See, I've been almost out of focus when I lean right here. When I lean back here, now I'm whoa. Now I'm really in focus. So I gotta fix. Yeah, let me make this to where I'm back here. Cause yeah, the camera work is tough. The camera work is tough, and a lot of y'all be throwing out advice from the chat room that I don't see, and it's hard for me to understand it during the live stream, which y'all are saying. But but yeah, when I lean forward right there, here I drop slightly out of focus, but when I come back here, I get more in focus. Yeah, it's a because I got it on manual, and that's the hardest way to do this is when you put the camera, you try to set it up on manual. That's hard work. But anyway, he says, I think they want you guys to go back into the matrix. Obviously, you're missed, and they want to use shame as a tactic. Enjoy that blue pill. I think you're missing the point of that account, Bernard. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm missing the point of your point. I'm missing the point of your point. But, but, let's talk about that super chat while I wait to see if anybody is going to come on up. We are an hour and 20 minutes in here. That super chat is it's it's an interesting thing because when a man carries himself in a more red pill way, okay, he's understanding that women ultimately want a leader, okay, they want to be with a guy who's in control, who's confident in who he is, who knows what he wants, who puts on the table what he wants, how he wants it. That's what they say they want. Like they literally shouldn't be pushing back because all their choices show that a lot of times that's what they want. That's what they want and how they want it. Hey, we got people down here. Their choices show that that's what they want. Now there are the women that do want to be able to use a man and take advantage of a man, and they actually do want that weak guy, and they end up. And that's the part I forgot to mention. They ultimately will say that getting in a relationship with a guy who's red pill, that's a recipe for an unhealthy relationship. But when they get in a relationship with a guy who's not um, red pill, a guy who is more compromising, they're more likely to push the guy around. And when they push the guy around, then they ultimately end up in that unhealthy relationship that they talked about, but it's an unhealthy relationship that they're in control of, an unhealthy relationship where they're at the top, even though so-called, using air quotes here, an unhealthy relationship where the guy is in control. And I reject the whole premise of it being unhealthy, but that is essentially a relationship where ultimately the guy being in control, the, it it lends to a functional relationship because a woman will, with her head on straight, will actually follow. I saw you, JB, come back. A woman with her head on straight will actually follow a man. He will actually follow. The woman with her head on straight, she will actually follow the man. But a guy following a woman is never a good thing. And the equal 50-50 thing probably only works for, but I'm not talking about 50% of the bills. I'm just talking about we're equal and we're both equally, if she don't view you as the leader, then there's going to be a lack of respect there. It doesn't play out. It's them fighting against their biology. But either way it goes, be that as it may, we got who we got in the building. Who is this? Let me see. We got I think this is Wizard X in the building. JB, I saw you down there. Come on back. Real quick on this super chat. It says women tend to have different standards for different men. Yep. I think there was a study that shows that women are more trustworthy of good looking men. More likely are more trustworthy or just more likely to just do what he say. I don't think that they're more trustworthy. I just think that if he's good looking or has money, then that's some benefit or value that he's adding that just ultimately makes them accept more nonsense. That's probably a possibility. But I would love to see how that study. Email me that study. Email me that study. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you for everybody who's supporting the stream. Right on, Charles Merchant. Right on. He says we want a leader that is gaslighting. I do agree with that. That's why I put the caveat in there. A woman with her head on straight will follow a man. So a relationship where the man is in control and calling the shots is a functioning, workable relationship. If it's equal and she knows she can call shots over him, then it's not going to be as functional of a relationship. But when women pull out the leadership, or you got to be the type of man that I can submit to, they're ultimately saying they ain't feminine, and it is what it is. That just is what it is on that. All right, JB in the building. No, well, Wizard X came up first. I go to Wizard X and see what Wizard X got. Go ahead. What you got?
Hey, Bernard, how are you?
I'm wonderful. What you got?
All right, I had one question. I wanted more clarification on what you meant by if women started kind of I would say not pursuing these males that I think you use a football player. They stopped pursuing males like that, then that would change. I want more because I didn't really understand the point that you're trying to.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wasn't saying stop pursuing them. I wasn't saying that. I was responding to something that was said in the article. I'm trying to remember exactly what was said. I might have to bring it back up, but she was basically saying that she was talking about the age-old double standard. If a man has sex with a lot of women, um, nothing wrong with that, but then women have sex with a lot of men, oh, that's a problem. And I was just simply pointing out that we didn't exactly make the rules. We didn't exactly make the rules on that. If they look at a guy who's getting a lot of women, hooking up with a lot of women, if that makes him more valuable in their eyes, and then they go on and want to be next in line to get with this guy, then I was basically saying that's a it is what it is situation that we didn't create. Now, if they wanted to end that situation to where if a guy has sex with a lot of women and then that makes him more valuable on the market, women see him as a guy with high sexual prowess that they want to get with, they could just develop the idea, the thought process of men. Really they can't, because it would go against their nature. But theoretically, hypothetically, if they did just rewire themselves and thought more like men and just get in the mindset of, oh wait, this guy, he slept around with 3 women at the office, no way in hell I'm going to have sex with him. Or this guy has a reputation of sleeping with a lot of women, no way in hell I'm going to have sex with him. Then all of a sudden, a guy having sex with a lot of women, that would ultimately um, lower his value. So then men would have the same social constraints as women. But seeing as women, um, they don't mind those. They don't mind it the way that it is. That the high top of the top of the top type of guy, they have sex with him, and it's no big deal because they don't view it as a big deal. So why would he? What motivation does he have to stop? But if they want to stop it, then okay, they can just start viewing a man who's, I'll just use the term, a man whore, the same way that we view a female whore or a whore. They could start doing that if they wanted to, but they don't. So they can't complain about the way that it is. Did that clear it up?
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. Like, in terms of that, I think I know I agree with you. It's kind of hardwired, and like even if that, I mean, if I guess it would be hard to imagine women being able to do that, because then you would have to, history would be changed. For example, if you're
No, they can't do it, and
yeah
that goes back to a lot of what I said. Like the stuff that they're complaining about, men did not like write some arbitrary rules to our benefit, because that what I just described right there, that's not to the benefit of most men. It's really not.
mhm.
If a man didn't have sex with a lot of women, and women as a result of that saw him as more valuable, that would be more beneficial for the majority of men. But having sex with a lot of women and being seen more as more valuable because of that, that's that's only beneficial to a smaller percentage of men. So it's they're complaining about nature and pretending like men wrote the rule that ultimately excludes a high percentage of men, but they still have their free reign access to who they want, when they want, how they want it. So that's where I'm at with that. It's not a matter of complaining or saying that they need to stop doing this or they need to stop doing that. It's just acknowledging the contradictory nature of how something that's in their biology, that they're ultimately hardwired to do, they're complaining and blaming men for something that, left to their own devices, they would do anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the more I look at it, like the more I kind of like review historical events. I think you hear women often say that women have been oppressed, but when you think about, I think some certain laws, men have enacted these social norms and laws in order to protect women, and has now that has been now that it has changed, you'll see we're seeing more women come out empty-handed.
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to Jerome D. I still remember Jerome D. And you dropped some of the funniest comments that ever existed on my show. I miss those, man. You used to be coming through with some funny ones. He said the male the male version of a whore is one who gives up his time and resources too freely. That is our version of pussy. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Thank you for adding that to the conversation, because I neglected to mention that. So I'm glad you added that to the conversation. JB, what's going on, man? Can you speak? Can you hear? You haven't.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you good now. You good now. What's up? Hurry up
Okay.
before you get dropped off again. Because you had fell
Nah,
off.
so I don't
Uh,
I don't know
Go ahead.
what's going on, man. I think it's my VPN. Because I use a VPN, and for some reason, whenever I try to get on StreamYard, I always have issues. So yeah, so
Mhm.
I had to set up another scenario. Anyway, um, on this topic, I kind of missed some of this, by the way, because I was trying to connect. But the first thing is, Bernard, we need to figure out some eye insurance for you. Okay, so uh,
It's
if
not
you want,
eyes. It's well, okay. It's halfway the eyes. The other part of it is my monitor is really far away, and StreamYard is doing this weird thing where when okay, you know how you go to Google Images and you try to make the image get bigger, but the image you want to see gets smaller and everything else gets bigger. I don't know if you've experienced that. StreamYard does the same little weird thing where the screen that shows me, that shows the super chats and the comments, is small. It only represents like probably 30% of the screen, the total screen. And the comments are taking up another 30%. Then it's just a whole bunch of empty space where it's like, and I'll try to blow it up, make it. I gotta try to figure it out. I gotta figure out what's going on. But anyway, yeah, okay. Let's just go with your original premise. I'm blind and can't see and refuse to get glasses because I'm a stubborn old man. There. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, see, you made all those excuses just to get to that final point. That was the main point. Yeah, but on this topic, man, so shout out to you for actually going through this article, because I can't read babble like that, man. Like, that's just I mean, you already know from the beginning that she basically is just going to try to gaslight, men into gaslight the world into thinking that, being red pill is this, terrible thing, right? And then, like, there's a few things in there, like the talking point stuff and whatnot, like you discussed, that we can understand. But I think what I find interesting is that she used these tactics, like, for example, when she says that hypergamy has been disproven, right? But she doesn't say that. Like, she doesn't say that. She basically just assumes it, right? She just assumes it by just saying, like, the disproven concept. And I'm just, like, sitting here thinking, like, wait a minute, you're literally denying like a pretty essential concept of evolutionary biology, and you're just essentially saying that this thing has been disproven, and you have, like, you didn't provide a source, you just made that claim and you moved on with it. So, but that's to be expected. So, I don't know. For me, I find that more hilarious than anything. So, but I like your breakdown though.
But I'm on the lookout for honest critics and honest detractors. So when I like to hear a good counter argument. I'm all for that. So actually, I did something I normally don't do. I deleted one of your comments, JB. Your first comment today. The first comment you dropped, you was like, "Why even waste it?" I think might have been before I even started the stream. It was like, "Why even waste your time with this nonsensical article?" I was like,
"Are you censoring me, Bernard? Are you censoring me?"
No, I'm not censoring you, man. But
this is censorship.
You can't come in and chat, especially right now when like 60% of the manosphere audience damn near seems to be in open rebellion against the manosphere. You can't come in a chat room like, why are you even wasting your time doing this? It's like you was gonna start a pitchfork revolution. Yeah, this is a waste of time. Let's get out of here. I was like, oh shit. I had to delete your comment. But damn, somebody else.
This is the one place where, I hope that would never get censored. And I'm very disappointed.
I wanted you to see it though. I did want you to see it. So I was going to I was waiting for you to respond to it. I was like, damn, he didn't see it. But no, I did want you to see it. I was trying to I came in here. I don't delete comments that much, but I was like, all right, if the people who are a part of the rebellion roll up in here, I'm gonna have to get some people up out. Not just playing, but no. I wanted you to see it because I did it with a sense of humor.
Bernard, you still don't get that account? You still don't get it?
I think I get it. But if it is what I think it is, I don't want to say it.
You can't tell whose picture that is.
That picture right there.
Yes, Bernard.
Take a hint
with the second part of the name.
Dolph. Oh. Man. That flew over my head like a 747. Wow. Hey, that's a good one. Young Dolph. That is a good one.
I was cracking up because because I mean, this is too soon, by the way. This is too soon, but
And that is funny. That is funny. How could you just look at that? I mean, I guess I couldn't
I've
get
seen,
that.
I've seen enough movies. I've
Yeah, I
seen
mean,
enough
I've
movies.
I've never I've never seen an image of young Dolph, so it just wouldn't connect with me. So I'm just thinking young Dolph the rapper, and didn't make a connection that young Ada. I didn't think I didn't. Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm impressed, man. I love a good YouTube name, and that one is at the top of the list. That I love it. That is one of the that is
Whoever's behind that account was probably thinking like the when they thought of that one, they're probably like, "Oh, this is it.
yeah.
This is it right there."
Yeah, I gotta get that man a wrench for that one. he he deserve a wrench off that one alone, man. Oh shoot. Wizard X, you got anything else? You got anything else to add to the conversation? For me and JB just sitting there clowning at this
I was reading a bit of the article and I was thinking about the hypergamous side. I just had a quick question. Um, it's kind of off topic, but what would it take for a man to decide, hey, um, I want to mate with this woman? Is it, do you two factor in genes or person or mostly personality? Uh, what would the criteria be for you as a male?
to want to have sex with a woman?
No, to mate. I mean to
Oh,
reproduce.
reproduce.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was thinking about the hypergamous thing, and I started reading more about it in terms of that aspect for the woman. And I understand
Okay.
the woman tends to seek out the best in me in terms of genes and social status. So, what does it require for a man? Not
Okay,
the
that
pookie, but just like like not the pookie or the those people,
right,
but
right, right.
yeah,
No, got it, got it. No, to be perfectly honest, that's actually a tough one for me to answer personally because I'm in a place where I don't want any more children. So I would have to I would have to delete the existence of my kids and get in the mind frame of okay, I'm looking for sons. I want sons. I want children. What do I want? That's something I never even thought about. I never even thought about that. Like, what type of attributes do I want a woman to have that I want to reproduce children with? Because when I got married at 19, I wasn't thinking like that. I was just 19 and stupid and blue pill and was like, yeah, I want to get married. so, so I never even thought about that.
like
Oddly enough, I
like
never. But it's a good question for JB because JB is one of the few people in this space who proudly says, I want to get married. Some guys, talk around it, but JB just he stands in it. He wants to get married. He wants to have children. He wants to have family. Wants to have a family, and don't want to be a baby daddy. Don't want no baby mama. So he want it all tight in pocket in house. So he's a perfect person to answer that question because me in choosing. Well, post marriage, when I was just keeping it casual, it was just that. It was just casual. So I wasn't thinking outside the box on the attributes this woman needs to have because it was casual. The woman that I'm in a relationship with now, I mean, I find her attractive and she's very easy to get along with, and she and it's really that simple. But we're not talking about reproducing. We're not having any kids. So JB is probably the best one to answer that question.
all right.
Even though the woman that I'm with, in the event that we were on that, she is hella smart. I do. She would make a good mother. She would. But go ahead, go ahead. Why y'all hiding, Juice Man? What
I
are you doing?
want to add one more
Go
thing,
ahead.
such as if you found out maybe like within the relationship, either
That's a good hide. Number 16. I was
like
like, hey, why you hiding, Juice Man? But then I'm like, okay, now I see. Okay, yeah, good hiding. All right, go ahead, Wizard X, and then we're gonna pass that question to JB.
like if she had, like, for example, within her family, like some sort of mental disorder, like Right now I can only think of bipolar disorder, or if she has some sort of hereditary genetic disorder for her family. Would that kind of deter everyone within the chat and the panel? Whether I should mate with her, or whether she's whether I should reproduce with her.
Yeah, if a woman family has a strong history of mental illness or
Even though
something
she's
crazy,
beautiful, smart, and whatnot, things like that.
okay, well, some guys might ignore that. If she looked real good and everything else is hitting on all cylinder, you may take some risk, because it's risk with everybody. But yeah, no, typically if a woman family has a really bad medical history, then yeah, that's something that you consider. That no, you don't want to reproduce with a bad crop, bad eggs. So, but I do want to pass your original question to JB, because he is somebody who's in the market for a woman to have children with someday. So I pass it to JB on that, because I'm out.
Yeah, if you don't mind, you mind restating the question again just to make sure I'm answering exactly what you asked.
When it comes to reproducing with women, do you factor in mostly just the personality, or do you factor in the genetics, the intelligence, whatnot? Does that kind of I know sometimes men just go based off looks and beauty and personality, but when it comes to reproducing with a female, what would you factor in? And does that the genetic side kind of play a real big part within the reproduction part?
That is an excellent question. So it actually kind of reminds me of a conversation I had with my dad about athletic women, and like he was trying to tell me basically, because we were talking. It was anyway. I don't want to go on a tangent with that, but we were talking about like how a lot of athletic women are tall, and then we got into discussing how you know depending on what the type of children you want, it may actually be to your benefit to and when I say athletic, I'm referring to like women who play sports and stuff like that. And so let me avoid going on a tangent with it. But yes, I would love to consider the genetics, right? The thing is though, I mean, I think there's some parts of it that I don't think you will know, but I'll give you an example. So in my family, we have a lot of people who who are anemic, right? I happen to be actually one of the few people in my family who don't actually who are not like, what is that, iron deficiency, I think, who don't have that issue. But it's something that we found is I think it comes from my mother's side, where basically we have a bunch of anemic people in my family. Like pretty much all I said all my siblings. I have two sisters. Both my sisters are anemic, but I'm the only one in the family that doesn't actually have that issue. And so that, to me, just having seen like the effects of that, if a woman was anemic, for example, I might think twice about that. That's just one example, right? I think I think to the extent that I know, right? It's like I don't think you will know a lot about her genetics up front, but to the extent that I know, I do care. To the extent that I know, I do care for sure. If it's something that can be passed on to our children, then I would want to make sure that I can get the best woman possible in terms of genetics as well. So part of that, I mean, and actually, I think this touches into like why a lot of us may not want to deal with fat women, for example, right? Like, there's certain things, even if it's not genetics, even if it's not like she's fat because of her genetics or anything, I also just wouldn't want to pass that on to my children, like to somebody who's just being lazy, who's not consistent with taking care of herself or whatever. So I don't know. I feel like I'm probably going around your question, and I'm not trying to. But I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes to the extent that I know. But it's hard to really like, what are you gonna know in terms of her genetics? You know what I'm saying? Like it's to the extent that I know, I do care. Hopefully, I answered your question.
Yeah, I think you answered it well. I think like I was thinking about it too. I'm wondering like, when it comes to reproducing women, we're going to have to eventually ask these tough questions and dig around their past, both of our pasts, when it comes to that subject. So I just want to know all of your takes.
Yeah, no, good questions. Good question. Freedman's Journal in the building. I don't know if you want to explore Wizard X's question or if it's something in particular that prompted you to come on up, but either way, you got the floor, you got the mic.
Hey, thanks, Bernard. How's my audio? Can you hear me?
Is that you that sound like
You were Borging a
something?
bit.
No, hold
Uh,
on. Now he wasn't Borging. It was just some weird feedback
uh,
or background noise.
yeah, it is. I'm on my phone.
No, it's not that you're on your phone. It's that you're at Walmart. Like, what's going on? Like, hold on. Like, the lady on the intercom was talking about a pickup on aisle 6 or something, like clean up on aisle 6. But we're gonna go to Azrael. We're gonna go to
Hey,
Azrael
what's going on?
real quick. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Yeah, I don't know. The stream always Borging for me for a bit. It was Borging for a couple other people. Hello?
Oh, okay. No. You good? We hear you. Go ahead. You got the
Can you
mic.
hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, no, cause yeah, right. I didn't know if you were talking. Yes. Okay. According to his point with the guy I was making, I would say optimally first and foremost, I would say it would be genetics. I know this might sound a little bit shallow, but I feel like I have, as long as a person has above IQ temperature IQ, I'm good to go. I don't personally I don't need okay if the person is the person what's it the Wonderlic test or whatnot that they make quarterbacks take. I don't need all of that. The person doesn't have to be a nuclear scientist. Just more so if the person has good health and optimal genes. If we talk about from a biological perspective, from a class perspective, I would say ideally middle class and above. That would be about it. But what I was in and out when you were going over that article. To be honest with you, when it comes to the red pill, one of the biggest reasons why the red pill was so became spread like wildfire, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, is because granted, men might know, okay, women are hypergamous. In nature, it doesn't. Hypergamy is not necessarily a bad thing. It's we advance as a human race because of hypergamy. I mean, if we all if women sought out dudes that had hunchbacks and one eyes, then it's like how much would the race progress? You know, how much would we thrive as a species? But it's more so the red pill. The red pill expanded because women societally they broke the social contract and they don't practice anything in good faith. So the concept of it's basically that article is gaslighting first and foremost. But the concept that men that are red pill are toxic is like no, they're trying to traverse the dating climate. And the dating climate, we know that women are not, they don't do anything in good faith. They always have their fingers crossed behind their back, especially nowadays. And it's because they basically can. There's nothing. My thing is this: I don't have a problem with female nature. I just have a problem with it not being regulated. Like I don't have a problem with a woman, for example. I'm not saying me per se, but for example, let's say she takes upon herself to have engaged in paternity fraud. Well, I think you should do some time for that. Granted, everyone has free will. We live in a free society. If you choose to embark on that kind of disingenuous acts or ideas, that's on you. But I feel like there's supposed to be consequences. Male nature is regulated. Female nature is not. So I don't have no problem with women acting towards it. For example, someone could say, "Oh, men are have high testosterone," but that doesn't give the person a right, nor will they be allowed to go and rape random women. Be allowed to sexually assault women. You know, it has to be everything has to be regulated, and I feel as though women don't go into the societal confines of things. You know.
Yeah. No, definitely good points. Damn it. Yeah, I said something earlier. I was playing around with things in the studio. So I forgot what exactly that you said that I wanted to respond to. Did any one of you want to respond to anything that he said?
I would say one thing. Wouldn't you say partly within the United States, religion kind of enforced that social contract, and now that we're moving away from that, we're seeing more of this, more of the issues that the red pill typically kind of voices against, and some people who complain about.
I don't know what your question was specifically.
Well, no, I think he's saying that with society moving away from religion, then that's part of the reason why, like you said, female nature is unchecked and they basically do what they want to do ultimately. But I think he's saying that it was religion and not just the structure of society and the culture that basically stopped female nature from running amok. He's saying it was religion more so than that.
Yes, because I wanted to make, because before Christ, I think it was one Greek empire, one ancient Greek empire where there were a whole bunch of things allowed, like the pedo, the necro, stuff like that. That was allowed during that time within specific kingdom. But once once the arrival of Christianity, a lot of those things were deemed immoral. So I think to your point, don't you think? Since the social contract is kind of breaking apart, that's because we're moving away from religion within the United States, specifically Christianity.
I would agree with that. But I think there's also the issue that even there are people who consider, like, there's also a perversion of religion that's also happening as well, right? Because there are people who, let's take Black men as example, right? Like, I mean, I know so many sisters who, claim they're Christian and use, and whatnot, but their behaviors, right, don't align with, the type of women they should be as a Christian woman. So it's not just like, it's not just basically not having the religion. It's actually to the point where it's being perverted as well. Does that make sense?
I'll say this, whatever. Okay, if we accept that there's a problem and that problem is going to be solved somehow, I don't see religion as a thing that's going to solve it. There's been some talk lately about things being outdated, but some type of fundamentalist religion, especially if you're going with Christianity, the more fundamentalist brand of that, essentially governing over behaviors, I don't see it going back to that. I really don't. I think that's sort of the natural progression. I agree,
especially when you have.
I think that's sort of the natural progression of religion to eventually be more liberal and moderate. I think we're even going to see. I mean, we're kind of already seeing it happening in the West, where Islam is getting a little more moderate, but in certain places, they're still, it's still going by the letter of the law. Shout out to the Taliban. But either way,
not as much.
Hold on.
Not as much though, Bernard. Like when it comes to Islam, I would say, I mean, remember, there's like literally billions of Muslims out there, in the world, right? So if you were to say what percentage of those are becoming, let's say, more liberal, it's a very small percentage of Muslims who are, like, compared to Christianity, where I think Muslims have a little bit more of a stronghold, like on, basically
I agree. I agree, but I just think it's still the natural progression. Just like how, and I'm not trying to debate scripture with nobody, but just like how, what'd you say?
I said, if you allow it. That's why Muslims don't. That's why Muslims are very hardcore about this. They do not allow you to just pervert the religion.
Yeah, I get that and I understand that, but what I'm saying is I do think eventually it probably won't in some Muslim stronghold countries, but as it gets more westernized and people move out, and put it like this, do you honestly believe that we're talking third generation people from somewhere in the Middle East, been in either the US or some countries in Europe, over time, I think they will develop some more liberal version of Islam. I just think that's just the natural progression of things. Now, yes,
I think that's partly related to influence from the West, because I know they have kind of advocated and demanded women are able to drive or have more freedom. So I think that's active participation.
Yeah, wasn't it a video that went viral of some chick over there had the ability to drive and she was like singing some Britney Spears or something while driving, would still had her head covered or something like that. It was a video that went viral or something like.
I wouldn't. I've seen some videos like that too.
Yeah, so it's like I just think that the early stages, it may not even happen in our lifetime. I'll say that it may not happen in our lifetime, but I think the natural progression is for that. I mean, that's why it's a really good argument that, you know, traditional values will never come back. But I think Wizard X is, you know, on the edge of a really good point to where it will take something as strong as religion to probably bring it back. I remember when somebody asked Angry Man, what do we think can, you know, solve the acrimony or whatever between black men and black women, or get them, you know, I hate the term, back to the table and all of that stuff. He basically said an act of God. He basically said it would take an act of God, and
I agree.
And I agree too. I agree too that it will take something catastrophic to where civilization would have to break down. We have to be damn near on Walking Dead status for women to realize that, oh shit, I can't function without men in society. But as long as society is built in a way to where, one, we respect human rights, freedom, and human flourishing, and women are afforded all of that. Two, we live in a modernized, westernized, civilized world to where they're going to be able to simply get a regular basic job. I always use the example of they're able to make enough money to get by. They're able to make $40K in an air-conditioned cubicle somewhere. They're able to live an easy life and have food, water, electricity, roof over their head, running a toilet that works. They're able to provide all their basic needs. So now what do they do with the rest of the nature? Whatever the hell they want. That's essentially what's going on. And if that has to be checked in order for things to go back to the way that they used to be, yeah, something catastrophic is going to happen in order to actually in order to actually make that happen on a massive scale. On a smaller scale, yeah.
But to your point,
I
Bernard,
wanted to.
do you realize I'm gonna make this quick point, and then I don't know who that was talking about. I'll just let you go. So to your point, Bernard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I know we're probably gonna get clipped for this. You're definitely gonna get clipped for saying shout out to Taliban. So just remember
I'm
that.
good with that. I'm good with
that. But to your point, I think that's one of the reasons why when people are asking, like, you know, why are some of these guys, you know, some of these Muslim guys in the Middle East, why are they so extreme and stuff like that? That's why. It's because they see, you know, exactly what you just said about, you know, just what we understand to be traditionalism basically not coming back, and they're just like, wait a minute, we're not going to accept that. And so for them, that's why they take the extreme measure. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, okay? And I'm not even naming any particular group of people. I'm doing this on purpose. I'm just pointing out that is why they are as extreme as they are. Is specifically because they see how this stuff is destroying the West, and they just don't want that. You know, they don't want that in their backyard. And I just want to point that out. That's why they're as extreme as they are.
No, I don't think you made a controversial statement. I really don't. Like, somebody can clip that if they want to. Yeah, that's why they are as extreme as they are, because they don't want to lose control. Now we can the misogynistic way of wording that is they don't want to lose control of their women, because they want to be able to control and rule over and dominate women. But you also can word that as, no, they want functional family structure. And they know that the way that you get rid of that is to liberalize and westernize everything. So they're going to keep a stronghold on everything traditional, everything that's deep rooted in that Quran. And if that means that occasionally they have to stone a bitch, then oh well. That's I'm joking, but that's probably accurate. But yeah, that's pretty much how
you keep trying to get clipped. You keep trying to get clipped.
Hey, I'm not worried about it. It's funny.
You see how they've done chaos.
Hold on, wait. No, but you're talking about being clipped by some feminist group that want to typecast the manosphere in a certain way. Nowadays, I'm more concerned about getting clipped by somebody in camp. That's what I'm more concerned about nowadays. Getting clipped by somebody in camp because I said something that was that was borderline simpish by accident, or I
Getting
said,
clipped by like stream teams or something.
Yeah, it was worded kind of funny to where they could make it look like I had the cape on or something like that. I'm more concerned about in camp clipping than what I am about the feminists coming through trying to clip me, bigging up the Taliban. That's just the reality of where we at right now. But Uncle Stu in the building, he says the what does that say? Uncle
Shout out
Stu's
to
the
Uncle
old man.
Stu. Shout out to Uncle Stu.
Uncle Stu, old man on the block, showing love and support. Shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. Go ahead, Azrael. You was trying to get in here and say something. You got it.
Oh, one of my points I did forget, but I wanted to delineate from what you were saying a little bit. In terms of what Angry Man said, right? He's going to take an act of God, but I think this is where a lot of the impasse, I should say, in the manosphere is. For example, you have one side, and I know Obsidian's not here to defend himself, but it's like one part of the manosphere is like, okay, the gender war is over. Let's bring back the woman to the table, and then the other side is saying, well, what makes you think that the gender war not only is over, but why would you want back those same women anyway? And I think that's what some people are having a hard time with, saying, okay, you're saying let's negotiate, and other people are like, what is it to negotiate for? They already practice a scorched earth policy. So we might as well return the favor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
No. You explained two different camps. BGS did, and I don't know if you explained either camp exactly right, but I do understand that there are multiple camps in the sphere. And BGS did a video where he pointed out something that made sense, and I agree with it. That in the Black manosphere, the goal was never for us to be just on some unified message like that. It was just it created just black men can just have a voice and speak their mind, and so he broke a lot of things down in the video. So his video is probably one of the best responses to everything that's going on right now. I called it. I jokingly said, but might be accurate, where I was like 60% of the manosphere right now is in open rebellion against the manosphere. I said that.
I'm the Senate.
Yeah. But he did a really good video that brought a lot of clarity to it. I to that I will say this. There are. I'm trying to think exactly which way I want to go with this, because, I don't look at it as bringing them back to the table. I guess I just don't look at it like that. I never looked at it like that. It was just more so, speaking to what BGS said about Black men having a voice, it was more so just speaking up for men, speaking up for Black men, everything that's ultimately has been said out there. A lot of it has been said by Black women, that's been put out there. When I stumbled across Obsidian in late 2017, early 2018, he was just breaking down a lot of facts, stats, and data, and I was like, yes, I'm in it. This is making sense. This is lining up with a lot of things that I've been thinking, but I didn't really just have the information, and so I was with it. And so when they try to say something like men are garbage, men are trash, they don't do this, they don't do that, and we got the information, we could break down the facts, stats, and data and set the record straight on everything. That's where I was at with it, setting the record straight. I think a lot of people have taken those who ultimately try to set the record straight on things as men pleading for women to come back and act a certain way. I mean, I don't know. It's
But Bernard, there were people that were saying the gender war is over, though.
I get, and I disagree with that. I disagree with that statement to say that it's over. I don't think it's. I think you can say that the conversation has changed online, but with the way that the manosphere and the manosphere thought process and a lot of things that we say are going mainstream and is spreading like wildfire, is yeah, you can say that it has changed. You could say that we're stirring more of the pot than ever before. You could say that, but no, it's not over. It's just it's it's when it comes to the online cyber talking point war, yeah, our talking points are really driving home and hitting the mainstream, much like the talking points of women have been the only show in town for a while. Ours and a lot of things that we say is a major player in the conversation, in the thought process. Now, you could say that doesn't mean it's over. That just means we won an important round. I said this to Obsidian myself, that to make a Star Wars reference, in A New Hope, when when the Rebel Alliance won their first major got their first major victory, destroyed the Death Star. Well, the Empire, they started right back building another Death Star. I mean, the next episode was called The Empire Strikes Back. So you don't just put a flag and just wave victory because Kevin Samuels got 1 million subs. You don't do that. You're just saying that, okay, this is some progress that a lot of the things that we say have been saying for years, a lot of things that Obsidian has been saying, a lot of things that BGS has been saying, because those are really the two people that I see that he's borrowed from the most. A lot of things that they've been saying for a while has ultimately gone mainstream. So that's definitely a victory, but it's not a mission accomplished. War is over, or this. So I never understood what they meant by that, by claim
I was
claim
gonna
of
say this.
victory.
But no,
All right, hold on. Go ahead,
I was gonna
JB.
say this one last thing.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, bro.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
Now I was gonna say one last thing. It's funny. I went on an interview last Friday. It was a Friday or Saturday, and I was talking to the person who came in. I was well.
Wait, hold on.
put
Time out.
together, articulated well.
Time out. Real quick. Time out. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Y'all heard everything that I said. I didn't say Kevin Samuels would save black women. I said our thoughts and ideas, things that we've been saying for a while, things that Obsidian has been saying for a while. If you go back to 2017, 2018, Obsidian, things that BGS have been saying for a while, those thoughts and ideas have made it out there into the mainstream. The record is being set straight on a lot of things. And to me, that is a good goal and a good thing to say that the manosphere has ultimately accomplished. I didn't say, and then so when people make that point, it gets flipped around that, oh, y'all trying to say he gonna save black women, or he trying to save these hoes, and it's no, that's not ultimately what's going on, and that's definitely not what I said. So I don't know why you will respond with that. But anyway,
Hey,
I'm
Bernard,
sorry.
Can you keep that comment up? And then the bro. No, I was saying, can you keep that comment up, and then that the brother who was talking, he can finish up. But I want to actually touch on that real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying I was went on an interview on Saturday and make sure I was like well put together, articulated myself well, got the job. But it's funny at the end of the interview I was talking to the employer, and we were talking more and more about manhood and whatnot. And he was like, "Oh, do you ever listen to Kevin Samuels?" And I just busted out laughing. And this is a non-black dude, right? He's like 10 years older than me. And he was talking about like, man, like he learned a lot from him. So like everywhere you go, like I've caught people like on the train while listening to him. If I'm stuck in traffic somewhere, I'll see people like listen to his stuff. And I've even heard like kids in high school like talk about Kevin. It's crazy. And it just shows that article that you show and proved a lot of your points that you were saying. It brought up the conversation. It was like the retort against the propaganda or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, JB. You got the floor. You got the mic.
All right, so I do want to touch on this, on that comment, and also on just what's going on in the manosphere. It seems to me that you're trying to avoid it to a certain extent, Bernard. So I don't know if you want me to actually touch on this. Is it cool if
you can go ahead and touch on it, but yeah, I mean, put it like this: if it was just debate and ideas without the overarching tone of beef, then I would do a whole stream on it. But seeing as it's too much beef in the air, that's the only reason why. Because I don't do the beef things. That's the only reason I'm staying off of it, just because it's But you can go ahead. You go ahead. You got it. Speak freely. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what I think is the issue, right? So, because on one hand, we've touched on this before. There's a group of people out there who try to gaslight men, into thinking that, there's no issues with the system that we have right now and in marriage overall, and how it can screw men over, right? And we don't want to gaslight men, right? So we don't want to gaslight men. But at the same
Mhm.
time, when you have, like Ramil basically is coming through and he's saying, essentially pump and dump. Okay, that's Ramil's message.
Mhm.
That's probably very simplistic. It's a very simplistic way of saying it, but I mean, I think even Ramil would agree that pretty much his message is pump and dump and focus on the bad, right?
Yeah.
And
That's just.
that's not. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that's summing it up very briefly, but I don't think you would disagree. I don't think you straw manning them. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and so I don't think it's necessarily bad to say pump and dump and get to the bag, right? But if you're thinking, about society overall and just the outcomes that we want, and then even the outcomes that we want for Black people, that's not a solution. I'm sorry, Ramil, but that's not a solution, right? And I think it's one of those things where, like, when I see, I was kind of listening to his rant earlier this morning, on Kevin Samuels, and I think that's like there's a fundamental disconnect that Ramil just doesn't get here, where there will never be agreement because you know I don't even think Kevin disagrees with Ramil on a lot of his perspectives, right? But I think the difference is that Kevin is looking at things where he's saying, okay, how do we change our outcomes, right? That's why Kevin talks about ethnic image a lot, and he talks about just the Black family, right? And just not creating more dysfunction and chaos. And if you had a society where people are just going around, like men are going around and just pumping and dumping, en masse, right? Like, not, I'm not just talking about, like, one man here and there. I'm talking about en masse. Like, that would create more chaos and dysfunction. I don't think anybody can actually legitimately debate me on this. Like, if you have men en masse, okay, going around pumping and dumping, that's just going to create chaos and dysfunction, right? Um, and so there has to be a middle ground, right? There has to be a middle ground. And I think Kevin is trying to approach it from the perspective of, okay, these women have been lied to. Let me give them the perspective of the men. Let me actually, talk to them. And it's actually effective. It's actually effective, right? So I just don't get the issue is that, he's not telling you, like, hey, if you don't want to go, if you don't want to go get married and you don't want to risk it, to go risk it. He's just saying, okay, here's the alternative, right? Here's the alternative, and consider it, right? And consider how this will affect us. No one's trying to save Black women, but even to that point, that comment, right? Black women are listening, bro. Like, and it's a very, like, this idea that, again, they're just too stubborn, they're too far gone. Yes, obviously we have an issue. Okay, we've addressed that, right? But there are actually Black women listening. That's why Kevin has the listeners that he has and the follower that he has. And we've seen Black women after Black women get on his show and tell him you were right, and tell him and talk about it may not be the majority. Sure, I'm not saying that it's the majority, right? But he's at least making a dent, and that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing, right? And I'm not just here to defend Kevin or whatnot. I'm trying to talk about the fact that, if we're just saying, like, hey, let's just, pump and dump and whatnot, okay, do that, right? But you also have to understand that, like, for those of us out here who want to actually build a family, who want to, raise children, right? There has to be a framework for us to do that where we do it effectively. And we've seen from the data, right, that when it's done out of wedlock, it doesn't produce good results. So what's the
Well,
alternative?
okay, I look
What's
at
the
it like
alternative?
no, no, I got what you're saying, and I look at it like this when it comes to, and I've said this before about Ramil's overall general message. He, uh, I'll reference the series me and Ike did. In this modern time, a guy does have to protect himself. So keeping it casual with women and focusing on your money, your career, giving them 5% of your times, focusing on your business, investing, getting some real estate, owning property, doing whatever you got to do to improve yourself. And don't worry about them giving them 5 to 7% of your time. Keep it casual. That is a good, right now, short-term, immediate reaction to the environment that you're in. And it's not a bad idea. So on a micro scale, I have no disagreement. That is what he's talking about is the correct response to the current environment. Then there's a bigger conversation about, and me and Ike had this conversation. It took like 3 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, on how could how do you fix this current environment? Okay, that is a long, tedious task, and and if somebody is, and I said this to somebody who called up on my show, Hope was saying that, hey, what Kevin Samuels doing is not working because I'm not having noticed a change in women. He even brought up incels. He said these incels out there, they're still not getting with any of these women. Or blah. I was like, so yeah, you're doing it wrong if you're waiting for Kevin Samuels to change the world or change the culture so you can finally get a girl. Like you're doing it wrong. And I always say, no matter how bumpy the terrain is, you got to figure out how to drive on it. And one way to figure out how to drive on this bumpy terrain is to be like how Ramil is. That's one way to figure out how to drive on this bumpy terrain. But if you're concerned about solving the bigger problem, the long-term problem, or like you said, oh, I'm sorry, was that somebody jumped in? Oh, if you,
Bernard.
yeah,
Okay, I may be getting ready to go through a bad cell area, so bear with me.
all
So
right. Well, hold on. I was kind of done with my point. I was kind of done with my point. So I'll go ahead and pass. Well, one thing that I was going to say, because you were down there, like I said, the way Ramil operates, that's one way to drive on this bumpy terrain. However, I also point out your way of driving on this bumpy terrain, getting the passport and all of that. That is also a viable option in the game. So me and I, we did a whole series where we talked about all the options and things that a guy in the short term must have on the table in order to have some decent results in this current environment. But there's nothing wrong with the men who want to deal with the big problem of the environment, why the environment is the way it is, and the things that would need to change in order to make the environment not be the way that it is. And the people who embark on that, I don't think that they should be gaslit or said that y'all trying to change hoes or y'all begging these women to act a certain way. No, I assume that Kevin Samuels don't got a problem with getting women in his personal life to act the way that he need to act. I don't have a problem getting my woman to act the way that I need her to act. I don't. That's why I don't come from that from a personal problem. I come from that from the standpoint of shit obviously hit the fan in the black community. It's a problem that ultimately um need to be fixed, the issues between black men and black women. So if I'm talking about it on a large macro scale and what needs to be done to fix those bigger problems, then yeah, that's more along the lines of what I see Kevin Samuels doing. I don't think that should be interpreted as dudes just begging and pleading with a cup out, asking for, can you spare some cooperation, please? Like I don't. That's how people are trying to depict it as, and I don't see that as what's going on. I see people having a larger macro discussion about where the problem is, why the problem happened, and what ultimately needs to change on a large macro scale in order to get the ship righted in terms of terms of overall relationships between men and women. Nothing wrong with that. But in the meantime, if an offer isn't put on the table that you will accept, by all means, keep it casual and get to your bag. So the two things are not even in conflict with each other. They're not in conflict with each other unless it starts coming with an energy of you need to go and marry that woman right now. Like when it gets like that, then that's when I got to pull back. Hold on, we shouldn't be telling men that if we start telling men that there's not a problem and just go proceed forward as if it's not a problem, as if we don't have all this information, then we on some bullshit. Then we on some bullshit. But no, it is a problem. It is an actual problem. And like I said, one of the ways to deal with it is to keep it casual, or AKA pump and dump, or just keep it casual, focus on your business and your money and get yourself together, or do the Pablo thing, get a passport, whatever the hell. But Pablo is back in the building. Go ahead, Pablo.
all right, yeah, much better now. So my problem with the Ramils of the world and the Minister Japs, because they are anti-passport, bro. SYSBM and such, right? My problem with them is that they want to say how horrible everything is, right? How they're German shepherds and I got a pump and dump and all of that. Okay, well, if it's that bad, why would you want to limit a man's options to navigate through that environment? And that's
Yeah,
why I can rock. That's why I can rock with you. I can rock with Obsidian. I can rock with Kevin and many others, because you're not taking black men's options off the table. You're recognizing, yes, it may be difficult for some to travel internationally and do what I do. That's absolutely true. But you're not taking it off the table. It was brought to my attention on my show last night that Ramil was, shit talking to passport bros. And I
did he,
have a,
oh,
I
wait,
have a,
hold on. He was recently doing that.
yeah, in his rant, in his battle with O'Shea.
Mm.
So,
Oh,
well, you do realize O'Shea is an expat. He's living in Uganda.
yeah.
So he threw that in the mix.
Yes, he was. I was listening to that one. He was.
Okay, so my point is, you can't tell everyone how terrible it is, and then turn around and take options off the table for the men. Well, you're
Wait,
selling hopium and this and that and the other. Okay, fine. So what are you offering them other than pump
Pa-
and dump?
Pablo, to be fair, just to be fair to Ramil, what he was, because I was listening to that stream, specifically what he was saying about the passport bros was he was talking about the passport bros that go overseas and then they end up just dealing with single mothers anyway. That's specifically what he
Okay,
was talking
well,
about.
okay.
Because I was listening.
To that, I'll offer my show from last night. My show from last night, we had a young woman on who is Somali and Tanzanian, and she lives in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We got a passport bro on the ground in Dar es Salaam who interviewed her. To that, you know what she said? She said, "We're adult women. We're not. If you want to come here and for a fling, we welcome that just as much as we welcome you coming here for wives." I didn't say it; she did. Go on over to my channel and hear her say it for herself. A baddie who
mm,
at 4 in the morning was laid up with one of the passport bros. They
mm,
keep telling us what we can and can't do, and oh well, you need to have the bag and you need to not mess with single moms and this and that. We can do whatever we want, whatever we want, and it is welcome. So
yeah.
to that, I say, stop trying to regulate us because you can't do it.
But
Yeah,
Pablo,
hold on,
however,
real quick. I do believe that Minister Jap sort of recanted on what he was saying. I do think he was just trolling and just needed somebody to talk shit about for about a week just to keep some content going. I don't think he really cared. I do know Ramil does got some. It seemed like he got more passion than what you would think for for people who go overseas with it. So I've never that part I've never exactly understood. But shout out to Poindexter Hill Turn. He says Ramil, and he kind of addressed it already, but I was putting it up kind of sort of before you address it. He says Ramil. Okay, I think he said. Okay, I don't know what that word is, but he said want black men. I think he mean Ramil don't want black men chasing single mothers. What are you talking about? Okay, so yeah, that's what he's talking about. But I think what's important there and worth pointing out, do the out of all the talk about single mothers and stay away from single mothers, avoid single mothers, do a lot of the men who wear the title passport bros and all of that, are they ever in that camp? Do you hear them saying that, but then go out and engage in contradictory actions?
Well, it depends on what you mean. For short term companionship with women abroad, oh, they knocking down single mothers left and right. Yeah.
Okay.
As for long term marrying and staying there in their country or bringing them here, that's not a very small percentage of those who do get married that do that.
Okay. All right.
And,
Fair
and
enough.
Okay.
That. Real quick. Sun is hot around the building says Ramil's disdain for passport travel bros comes from his limitations in the area because of his felony record, because most countries won't let you in if you're an ex-felon. I understand why you said that. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because I would like to give I would give Ramil more credit than to say that he wouldn't make a long-winded contrived reason make up a long-winded contrived reasons why other black men shouldn't do it, just because he can't do it because of a felony. Therefore, he's saying black men who don't have felonies can't do it. I just want to just believe that he wouldn't make that argument, but I do understand why you said that.
Can I mention one
In
thing?
short, Bernard,
I don't
in short,
Wait,
let me wrap a bow around this.
Wait, can I mention one thing about the passport thing? Because I thought he was for the passport bros, because he was saying on one of the streams that he was planning on getting a passport himself. I think he might have posted a picture. I might be confusing him, but he was saying that he was going to get passport himself.
Ramil be talking, bro. Ramil be talking.
Yeah, in short,
Yes.
I just want to say this. In short, the numbers of men who travel internationally that go abroad and come back with a baby mama is very, very small. Okay, so it's a straw man argument. He's building up something that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, so I was
All
actually
right.
about to agree with so I think I pretty much very rarely agree with I think I was sun is hot, whatever. But I don't know about the felony part, but a lot of what I've heard from, like, I just haven't heard strong arguments from Ramil when it comes to the passport bros, right? And mind you, I'm not a passport bro. I just happen to be a brother who's traveled a lot, right? But I don't call myself a passport bro. Like, I don't know these brothers who consider me part of their group, because I don't, do that. But still, I understand their perspective. When you go to DR, you go to like Bahamas, you go Ivory Coast, whatever, you're seeing the different treatment, right? And it's like, I think Ramil is limited. I think he does have a limitation, because he just can't see it. Like, he can't see it, so he doesn't understand where these brothers are coming from. That being said, I do think he has a point that if you're one of these brothers that is talking about baby mamas here, and then you go overseas to get a baby mama, to me, I see an issue with that. But then to Pablo's point, that's a minority of those men. And the men who say they have issues with baby mamas, even in America, they're still smashing them, right? They're just not wiping them up, right? So as long as you keep the same standard when you go overseas, then there's no issue. And that's pretty much what's happening. I don't like Pablo's correct. These brothers are not really like, in large numbers, wiping up single mamas, baby mamas, overseas. That's not happening. So it is a straw man. Like, Ramil is just kind of creating that. And just from listening to Ramil over and over again, like on his point on this, it seems to me that there's a limitation there, where it's just a part where he just cannot.
I want to pass to Drew's world, because he disagreed with Pablo about something. But overall, I just want to make sure I'm clear. I think Ramil, he do make a lot of good points about a lot of stuff, and even some of his rants that he's been going on about lately, some of it I agree with. But I've never heard him make a sound, satisfying argument when it came to the passport bros. The only one is that if it's proven, if you find somebody who's gung-ho talking junk about single mothers, but then they married to one overseas, then checkmate, you got them. But I don't. But that's really the only thing. But overall, in general, I haven't heard no good arguments as to why brothers shouldn't travel and explore whatever options that's possibly on the table. But Drew's world in the building. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Yeah, I think that he was just saying that if you're going to practice the same things in America, and I don't think he has a problem with the passport bros, and I mean, he does say some things that he has a problem with, but if you're doing the same things in America abroad, he's just like, what's the difference? Just stay in America and stop promoting that it's better over there if you're still doing this dating moms or whatever over there. But I really want to talk about JB's point about the whole the
Whoa, whoa,
marriage
whoa!
stuff.
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a minute!
Go
Wait
ahead.
a
Go ahead.
minute! I'm not gonna let you just run past that. So if 68% of the single moms here are 5'3" and 250 pounds, and the majority of the single moms abroad are, I don't know, 5'3" and 120. There are better single moms abroad than here.
Yeah, but Pablo, I don't think that's the point. I just think is that the message is
No, 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 no,
don't
no,
date
no,
single
no,
moms,
no, no, no.
period,
You can't tell me a
unless you smashing.
250-pound, angry, uncooperative woman is the same as a 110-pound, beautiful, cooperative baby mama. No, they're not the
I'll
same.
agree with that, but I'm not
All
falling
right,
out for that.
I am.
Is she slim thick, Pablo? Is she slim thick?
Yeah. Listen, baby mamaism had never been my issue. My issue is fit, feminine, and friendly. If I ain't getting it, it don't matter what you. It don't matter that you a baby mama or not. For me, if you ain't them three, all that other shit to me don't matter.
All right. Drew's World, you was trying to say something else before.
Yeah, I don't got no smoke for Pablo when it comes to the passport.
Yeah.
But for JB, when it comes to the marriage stuff, I think the message is really that modern women, they love their freedom, especially the ones in like my age range. I'm 33. They're gonna choose their freedom over a relationship for the most part. And it's more of the pump and dump thing to me is just dating within the current circumstances. It's like, yeah, those things, like most of the manosphere talking points are for like the older women when it comes to relationships and marriage. But when it comes to the modern woman, it's more of kind of just deal with them on their terms, and maybe you'll find one that can work on your terms. That's pretty much how it is and I'm in the mid-Atlantic, so you know how the women are up here, super liberal. So
Why
it's
not seek
just
traditional women?
what happened.
Why not seek traditional women? You know, they may not be as, I guess, supposedly fun as liberal
I
women.
think that's just part of the dating cycle, though. You're gonna have to cycle through that to find one that would actually get on your page. Because if a woman likes you enough, from my experience, she'll be on your page.
What do you? Hold on.
About
Let's
if she
back up.
likes
What
you
did you
enough.
mean? Hold on. What did you mean by just deal with them on their terms? What did you mean by that?
That's the terms of the current dating market. It's pretty much It's pretty much a pump and dump, just like how he describes it, in my opinion. Like it's pretty much that. But you just have to find. If you find one that likes you enough, she'll be on your page. That's pretty much how I've seen it from my experience.
But
Okay.
again,
Wait, hold on. I don't see. The only thing I didn't like is when you say deal with them on their terms. It sounds like you're talking about the man is just automatically in some weak, subservient position. That's what it sounds like. I don't know if that's. I don't think
No,
that's
not what I meant.
All right. So yeah. So even in this current dating market, no, you can set your terms and conditions, and you deal with women on those terms and conditions, and even if that means there's going to be less women willing to meet your terms and conditions. Okay, you might have less options as a result of that, but you don't have to deal with women on their terms. That is one thing that speaks to the strength of the individual argument, instead of looking at it from the wide macro lens. No, just try to teach every individual man to basically just grab his nuts and operate a certain way. Then that will ultimately change things as a whole. So whenever you say you have to deal with them on their terms, I cringe when I hear that.
No, I didn't. I misspoke. I didn't mean on the terms. I meant on the terms of the current dating market. Instead of like stressing, instead of the terms of stressing over, I got to get this woman to be on my schedule, blah blah blah.
okay, but please stop right there. Stop right there, though. You're saying stressing over. Again, this is the same thing that Ramil was doing. He's saying begging, right? Like no one's stressing over anything. No one's begging anyone, right? That's
what it sounds like. A lot of the points sound like, please be under my authority.
Bro, listen. We're men. We don't talk in terms of how things sound or feelings, right? Like let's talk about what they are, okay? So no one's begging, okay? No one's begging or stressing over anything. There's no issue with pumping and dumping. Like Bernard said it best. Like there's no issue with pumping and dumping, just in a casual way until you find what you need, what you're looking for. There's no issue. No one's like, I'm telling you, even Kevin doesn't disagree with Ramil on this, right? The issue though is if you want to actually create a family and build something, right? Pump and dumping is not a solution, bro. It's not a solution. I don't care about this is the market argument. It's not a solution. So what's the solution? And people like Kevin, they're just trying to say, here's an alternative, right? And
No,
part of
I
that
agree
is,
with you on that, JB. I
hold
agree with you. I'm not arguing that point.
hold up, right? Part of that is talking to the women, bro. Like, part of that is talking to the women. Talking to them doesn't mean begging them. Part of that is letting them know, here's the male perspective. Here's the black male perspective that you guys have been ignoring for so long. Let me actually let me tell you about it, right? And that's what they're doing. And he is getting results. There are results. It may be a small number right now, but at least he's making a dent. And so that is useful. We can't just say, oh, let's just like it's. So you're gonna tell me, and I don't think that's what you're saying. So I'm not trying to strawman you, but at least from Ramil's side, he's literally coming at it from. He literally said, by the way, in his own words, that he's literally for no marriage. So like Ramil's advocating for pump and dump en masse. That's what he's advocating for by his own words. I'm not strawmanning him. Okay, so that is chaotic and dysfunction en masse. Like if it's just we're just doing this until we figure things out and whatnot, cool, right? But what for a solution for society at large cannot be pumping and dumping. Let's just keep it real. That cannot be a solution, bro. It just cannot be.
No, I agree with you. I'm not saying that because, like I said,
right.
I'm for marriage. I'm for families, but I'm just saying that as a man, you have to kind of get through the casual sex life of like current women. You have to get through that to find that woman that would actually be on your page. That's just my point. I'm not. That's why I don't really have a side on this KS or Ramil. They
Wait,
both make good points, but
you're saying get over the sexual.
my headphones are dying. I'm gonna drop off.
I don't even think it's that much disagreement between both. I mean, one of them is clearly against marriage, and the other one is in favor of it. But the one that is for marriage is okay with men keeping it casual until they find a situation that they that they like. And Kevin Samuels doing a stream. Kevin Samuels doing a show where he's basically laying out that, talking to women, saying that these are the terms and conditions that men will accept. I don't think that that's begging. I don't think that that's begging. You know, it's men who perfectly fine getting sexual access. They can get sexual access to women. They can get general cooperation from women. But en masse, if women actually want to be women, it's something that don't. Some that just want their freedom and want to do what they want to do. And Kevin Samuels is exposing that. He's showing that. Kevin Samuels is actually exposing and showing a lot of things that validates Ramil's position on a lot of stuff. That's why I'm like, I don't see the two as enemies or at conflict with each other. But Kevin Samuels is basically laying out on the table men's perspective, the perspective of men, and what deal that men would be willing to accept. It's nothing wrong with putting that out there on the table. You can disagree. You can disagree with some of what he's saying. It's nothing wrong with that. You could disagree with some of what he's saying. But to me, when I look at Kevin Samuels' show, when I see women saying all those things that confirm so much stuff that we've been ultimately saying, I don't look at, I guess I don't see it. I don't see that as him begging women for anything. He's properly identifying the problem, showing exactly what the problem is. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
I think some people are confusing Kevin putting a sense of urgency on the women as him begging, right? So for example, him saying,
there you go.
I think that's what it is, right? Because there's a difference there, right? Like telling women, hey, listen, if you don't have a certain amount of money by this certain age, like you're gonna end up on the streets, right? Like that's not begging them to like, oh, you need to go get a man. Just say it's not begging. It's literally telling them, here's reality. No one has told you reality as raw as I'm telling you right now. Let me tell it to you, and let me put a sense of urgency on it, right? But then people are taking that and framing it as, look at him, he's begging women. It's like, bro, he's just telling them reality in the most raw way possible, because women rarely think about the fact that they could end up under a bridge. That's something that, like men, we have to think about.
Or they think that they could do what men do and wait until they're 35 and then say, all right, now I'm ready to sit down somewhere and start a family, even though they'd already been knocked up a couple times in their 20s. And now they think that they're about to get some dreamboat guy at the late in the game showing up overweight with a couple kids by a couple men. It's like, yeah, him explaining to them that no, regardless of what you've been told and what you've been taught or whatever wacky thoughts you got in your head, that's not how the world works. That's not how female biology works. And this is what it is, and this is the situation. Now, are there still, and this is to Ramil's point, are there still some women who, because they either look good or just know how to maneuver out here, that they could just be out there finessing dudes until bare minimum until they late, 40s, and I mean not late 40s, but late 30s. Some women who could pull that off. There's some women who could pull that off, and they can be comfortable and have their freedom. And if they have bad results when they start getting into their 40s, and oh well, they ain't thinking about that now. They living their best life right now. There's some women who are going to operate like that. But if en masse, because the majority of women, especially those that are in that average realm, I see you down there, OG. I'll bring you up in a second. Especially those that are in that average realm, they not going to be able to functionally live like that. And just him breaking the shit down to him is I don't see where the problem. I don't see where the problem is. It can be a problem if some dudes are just looking like, again, I had a dude come on my show and he basically was on some Kevin Samuels is fixing these women for us type of energy. He's going to fix these women, and then now these guys that can't get a woman, they're going to be able to finally get a woman. I'm like, calm down. I don't think that's the energy that dudes should be having in response to Kevin Samuels, but just the overall what he's doing, I don't see it as begging. I see him as saying things that I think we all generally agree that are true. And there's nothing wrong with those true statements being made on a large platform with millions of people seeing it. Like, I don't know how people see that as a problem. I don't see it as a problem. The Sun is Hot Rod in the building. Thank you for the super chat. We kind of circled past that. He says you can have a passport and still be denied entry into certain countries because of your felony. Look it up. Yeah. Okay.
And Bernard, just one more thing on this too is that if at the end of the day, right? If at the end of the day, whatever he's doing is actually having a positive result, right? How does that hurt us? Like, if you have even if it's a small percentage of our women who are listening and who are trying to fix the problem.
No. He's because he thinks that too many men are going to get filled up with too much personal hopium and just immediately just run back to the problems that they left. That's what his legitimate concern about, and that is a legitimate concern. And I just described a guy who was ultimately operating in that energy, like he's ready. He's thinking there's going to be some drastic immediate change, and let me just go back and put myself in a bad situation. I think Ramil does have a legitimate concern that some guys.
But that's the problem with that man. That's the problem with that man. Like, because I would not like a man just thinking like, oh, like suddenly the problem is solved or what. Like, I mean, to me that would seem like that's an issue with the man. That's a delusional man, right? That to me is not an issue with Kevin or his message. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding it. Like, that would be an issue with the man to see the world, to immediately start looking at the world in a very delusional way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
do you disagree?
I agree. I agree. That would be a problem with that man and how that man is interpreting the message. And he's putting too much faith in the content creator to make some immediate change. When I talk about a content creator making immediate change, I do think that major media platforms do stir the pot of society and ultimately change the culture. But a cultural change and shift happens gradually over time. So I do think there will be major cultural changes when a lot of the thoughts, ideas, views, and perspective of the manosphere get out there major and big time throughout the airwaves, throughout the mainstream. I do think it will have a noticeable change. But overall, no, a dude shouldn't be, 1 second saying, hey, I got to move different. I got to keep it casual with these women and just focus on getting my money up. And then watch a few episodes of Kevin Samuels and say, yeah, let me run out there and get married. It's like, I don't think too many guys are saying that. But I think a lot of what Ramil is responding to, as if guys en masse are basically saying, yeah, let me hurry up and just run out there and marry the first woman that likes me. Like, I don't think that's what's happening. But I don't know. Leo Anthony says, "Why can't the focus be about fixing black men again?" Are you talking about Kevin Samuels' content? I mean, if you talk, confirm in the chat if you're talking about Kevin Samuels' content, because I can think of 1.3 million reasons why he's not going to go back to doing that type of content. I mean, he found a hit show that really worked. Now he had a good show when he was talking to men. He had a really good show. Like, and he used to go live and it would be anywhere from 400, 500 people in there, and in proportion with the size of his channel, those were good views. I mean, but for some reason, when he started doing it with women, um, it caught on. It was more entertaining. World Star caught some clips. We already started gradually growing before he got on World Star, but eventually World Star caught some clips, and he just turned into just a viral sensation. So, I mean, you're asking him to hop off a thriving money train. Like, no, he's not. He's not hype. He's not going to hop off that train. He's not going to hop off that train. If you were talking strictly about Kevin Samuels and his content, confirm if that's what you were talking about. This space in general, it seems like to focus on fixing women and telling women what's wrong. Yeah, okay, this space, yeah, this part of what this space was created for, to address the problems that men had with women. Yes, yes. And that's what this space does. So in a way, telling this space to stop doing that, in many ways you may not realize it, but the ultimate result of what you're talking about is protecting women from criticism. You're basically saying you want the manosphere to stop talking about women, and that's why low key a lot of women, and then I know this isn't Ramil's intention, but a lot of women are praising and celebrating Ramil because they hoping Ramil could get men to stop criticizing. They hoping Ramil could get everybody to shut up, and then that's a victory for them. If they don't got major media platforms, social media platforms, here on YouTube, and it happens on Facebook, and it's all over, criticizing the actions of them. They want to be protected from that criticism. I saw what's that chick name? Sexy Red in his chat. Like, yeah, these dudes, they still talking about how women on welfare and won't submit. LOL, yup. You right, Ramil. And Ramil did make it clear. Don't get it twisted. I don't fuck with you bitches. He made that very clear. But they are celebrating what he's doing, because the ultimate, if he succeeds, dudes will talk less about women. And they want that small victory of that, of being protected from that criticism. And that's ultimately what you're doing with your super chat. May not realize it, but that's ultimately what you was doing with your super chat. Shout out to Indigenous TV. Just embrace the reality which many black men in this space refuse to do in total. Society is what has turned the women. So let the society fall first. You aren't in control. You never were. Accept it. I don't know what to do with that comment. I don't know what you mean by let it fall. When I think of society falling, I'm thinking Walking Dead. So no, we should avoid a Walking Dead situation. So I don't know what you mean by let it fall, but there is some value in pulling back from something and just letting it do what it do. But it depends on how far you want it to fall. Number 16 in the building, he says, thinking that women will not take advantage of all the benefits offered to her, family court, attention, government, because of some words, is Max Hopium. Generally, I definitely agree with you. That's why I'm put it like this. If a culture in society is going to change to the point to where those laws, and I said this before, and Zero actually agreed with me, if it's going to change to the point to where those laws and those benefits and everything that you're talking about is going to be removed, if getting that done is the equivalent, just to make an analogy here, the equivalent of running 100 yards on a football field, okay, maybe the first 5 yards is major media platforms breaking down how destructive all the thoughts and ideas and benefits that women garner from a system that's trying to protect them, but is ultimately giving them horrible results, and showing and just picking apart savagely and brutally how bad their logic and thought process is, and breaking down statistically and empirically the predictable outcomes of their thought patterns and everything that they take advantage of. that may be just the first yards of that 100-yard run to the touchdown. So that's why I don't understand how men who think the way that you think would ultimately say anything to get in the way of Kevin Samuels doing what he's doing. I don't understand that part of it. I really don't. Where we at? Super Chat's coming in late. Top Shelf C in the building said Passport Bros is, what is that? I can't even tell what that is. INTL, what is that? Oh, International Pump and Dump. Okay. Passport Bros is International Pump and Dump. Yeah, you got no choice but to pump and dump if you're getting on a flight in 7 days. So that's a fair point. Was it some more super chats? Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. I think there was one more. I don't know. I think that was it. So yeah. Regardless of where you're at, Kevin Samuels picking apart all the thoughts, ideas, and everything that women have ever said and ever thought, and using manosphere talking points to break it down, and doing it on a platform that big is in general a good thing. That's a win for the sphere, and I don't know how anybody should have a problem with that. That's where I'm at with it. Those are my thoughts on it. But shout out to number 16, everybody who super chatted. We got OGJ Speed in the building. Are you on camera down there? What's the hell going on?
Yes, sir. I'm on camera.
And he got on his reading glasses. Okay, that's good for you. Okay, all right, go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Well, I'm not as smart as you. One who probably need reading glasses didn't even know what international was, abbreviation.
No,
so you didn't see it.
I don't think that's
you didn't see it. You didn't see it. Come on, be honest. You didn't see it.
I couldn't tell. I
know you didn't see it.
INTL. I didn't know that was internet. It should have had a period.
I picked up on it straight off.
Good for you.
All right. How you doing this morning, Mr. Bernard?
Wonderful.
You're having a decent discussion this morning, and it sounds good. I'm glad they're getting some pushback on both sides, because that's how a conversation usually supposed to go. This is not a pet rally from one way of doing anything, so it sounds good. I did go back and look at the first part of your show for the young lady who had written or wrote a book or a column on Red Pill. I didn't know you was Red Pill. But no, I didn't, and that was something new this morning. Well, really, I don't know what red pill, blue pill, black pill.
I was just say you
I don't know what none of that shit mean. Y'all don't turn into pharmaceutical doctors, and I don't know I don't think y'all know what the fuck it means. So just to be honest, because it changes as depends whose mouth is coming out of.
That is true.
That's true. You give me that much. All right.
No, that is true. It does change depending on who's talking about it. There isn't a fully written description of exactly what it is and how it applies here and how it applies there. Yeah, one person. I mean, we're seeing it right now. We're seeing a splintering right now. There are some people who've always been like, okay, nobody would say Donovan Sharp isn't red pill, but Donovan Sharp is in a long-term relationship / marriage. I don't know. Hint, hint, wink, wink. I don't know. But and I've heard somebody argue that he's married. I don't know. But nobody would deny that the man is definitely red pill. But he's in a long-term relationship that's working out for him. So if some people define you only red pill if you stay single, I think they're probably merging red pill and MGTOW. But I don't, depends on who you ask. Depends on who you ask at this point. I'm not going to put a major finger on who's in and who's out in terms of just being red pill or bare minimum red pill aware. Real quick, Charles Merchant in the building. He says dudes are beefing while agreeing to 90% of the manosphere talking points. The Strags must be man, get out of there. I've said that before. I do not play that game of arguing with people who I know I agree with on 90 to 95% of everything. A lot of people like to do that. They go with that full strategy of people who I agree with on 90 to 95% of everything. I want to take that 5% and make a mountain out of that molehill and then do content on that. There's a lot of people who've been employing that strategy for a while. They've been employing that strategy for a while. That's very common in this space. So yeah, you're right to point that out.
I guess that leads into my go. You can go ahead and read that, Bernard.
Oh no. I was just clicking. I don't have to read that. I just was curious.
That pushing me to my next question. Is there a mission statement or any kind of column that breaks down the pills, the different colors?
There are plenty of content creators who have broke down what the pills are. I mean, I hate to. Now, there's somebody who I'm not even going to recommend because he's staying some nonsense, but he did a real good video breaking down the pills. He even went all the way and talked about purple, black, red, and blues. But I don't do all that. I don't even, once it get too complicated, I get confused too. But no, there are working definitions of it. The general definition of red pill is having a true understanding of reality. That is generally what red pill is. And you see how you could easily see how and why that could become, vague. It's easy for somebody to take that and interpret it one way or another way. Because I know you, I by that definition, you would probably think that you are red pill because I think you have a fairly accurate interpretation or understanding of reality. You see the true picture of reality for what it is. I think that you would probably think that you're red pill by that definition. So that's why it gets to the point to where people who are essentially red pill will generally disagree with each other on some things because it's very possible for people to see different realities or have different picture or having a different perspective on a particular thing. So that's why it could get confusing. But he says, get him off the show. Tell him to go see video Red Pill 101. See, I think there's a whole video out there for you.
Okay.
I probably watch it myself.
Okay, and for Pawn Dexter Heel Turn, you using a character for a fictitious show and you want somebody to take your ass serious. Want your camera up or get your own picture on there, bro. Anyway, so this is the kind of dumbasses we have in here why I think the manosphere don't move along because only thing they come here to do is pretty much say bullshit because they can't get nobody to do what they need to do at their own house. And I'm talking about their dog to eat food. So, when you have bullshit artists like that come on your channel and they only come on there just to type shit in. Don't hate me because I look good. I'm 62. Camera up, motherfucker. Let me see you. Okay. Anyway, so getting to what did you think? And overall, what did you think of the brochure the young lady was writing about? And why are you surprised that women would write something like that if that's what's out there? They ain't it to win it. I mean, so
I'm not surprised, but you are making a good point. They in it to win it. So smear and shame their I guess what they would view as their enemy, do a smear tactic campaign against their enemy. I'm not shocked by that.
And that goes
I do look for genuine detractors. I do look for that.
I think that goes into what you just said. A lot of us dudes in here, we sit around and there's nothing wrong with having fun. Good luck. I got a good sense of humor. But we see the same dudes day after day gets in the chat room and to disturb the room if you're paying attention to it. If you ain't paying attention to it, but it's very, very fucked up for the people who are in the chat room when they come in with their little kitty wheels and the only thing they want to do is make smart comments and not try to understand what this space is really about.
What kitty wheels?
Yeah, they're still on big wheels. I know they don't make them anymore, but since they gonna deal with fictitious bullshit, so I'm gonna put them on a big wheel, and that's all they have to do. That thing that you was talking about earlier, 90% of the things they agree along with, and then they're used the whole time they're on the channel to write bullshit in the chat room. And they think you don't see them. I mean, it's not so much the content a creator don't see them, sees them, but I'm talking about it just corrupts the whole space. And then you have to ask yourself, who is these motherfuckers? And this is maybe why they don't have someone in their life that they can ask to.
All right. Hold on. Wait a minute. I gotta jump back in. What do you mean? See, this is what I don't like. I don't like what you're doing right now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it. Somebody you have to call it out.
You're taking
at some point in time you have to.
You're taking people in a chat room, and because you don't like what they're saying in a chat room, now you know that they don't have somebody in their life.
Well, let me just be honest. If I had some women, if I had a serious relationship, there's no way I could spend every day in a manosphere that talks about what I already got. That would be a waste of effort, a waste of time, and everything else. I'm not saying these people can't pop in and pop back out.
Okay, so you don't got nobody. You clearly don't got nobody in your life because you spend time here.
Look again. I should be able to do that, Bernard, because number one, I'm retired. I don't did my time. And this is my time to enjoy my life and do exactly what I need to do.
You do realize that's an argument that amounts to you coming down here like you're trying to kick the legs out from under the table of my channel by basically saying the audience, if y'all was some real men who got better results with women, y'all wouldn't be here. Y'all here, that mean y'all are that. So you're trying to.
No, that's not what I said, Bernard. You're taking it to the extreme. What I'm saying is the people who come in to corrupt your room, not the people who come in to learn or people who to share information. I'm just talking about the few, very few.
Okay, it's certain people. Well, the people who I think are here to corrupt are different from those that you think are here to corrupt.
Yes, sir. And I'm pretty sure you're probably a little more wise than I am as far as, monitoring and been around the YouTube streets a lot longer than I have. So you probably be a little more on top of the game when it comes to that. But I'm just saying, from my little small P mind, I see some of these same guys all over the YouTube street, and they bring the same bullshit everywhere they go. And that shit tells them they can't run away from themselves, regardless of where they go. And as far as I think the people did lay down some good tracks for Pablo, saying if you go over there and do the same thing you're doing over here, then what's the difference? And the only thing he could come up with was the weight. Well, we're not talking about the weight. We're talking about the behavior. And that's what he don't get in that argument.
Well, I mean, OG, the behavior is different too, though. So even if Pablo didn't mention it, the behavior is different.
Well, when you go to some of these countries that don't have, some people don't even have a decent food to eat. I'm pretty sure you're not going to find somebody totally overweight in them countries. Sometimes they are just starving for a meal.
Nah, see, you shifting the goalpost.
No. What's to say the people you bring over here don't? We see it with all the other nations, from the Chinese to the Mexicans to the Salvadorans to the Costa Rican. When they get here, in about the second and third generation, they look just like everybody else in the United States.
So OG, so hold up, just to make sure I'm clear here, you're saying basically the women overseas who are fit is because they don't have enough food to eat.
No, I'm saying if you ever been to these countries, you'll find that they don't have that many gyms, and you don't find that many people in that country running around doing exercise. So what I'm saying is there's a difference in the quality and not quality food in this country. As far as we have food, we throw away more food than they eat in their country. So what I'm trying to say is when you usually get them type of women, over here, usually in a couple of generations, you see a change in their body, their physical body. And so it's part of what y'all was talking about earlier this morning when you was talking about the Islamic. People who come here get a little more westernized in their religion. Well, that ain't the only thing comes with that. I got some Chinese right here. It's just what you call thick and rich. out here in California. But in their country, they would call them fat.
Okay,
All right.
but
So there, hold on, wait,
OG,
real quick, JB. There's cultural differences that produce different results, and so our cultural differences over here are going to produce more fat people. Their cultural differences over there, or societal differences, are going to produce more thin people. Why should a man care if what he wants is a thin woman?
No, I'm just saying it. I think the guys, when they were speaking to him on their talking points, they was talking about the behavior more than they would. Well, it's better if the woman is slimmer if I still doing bad behavior, pumping up.
That's not okay. See,
that's
OG,
what I heard.
that's what I'm saying. OG, you're shifting the goalposts, OG. Like
no, I'm gonna say that's what I heard.
No, but listen, you're shifting the goalposts, right? Guess what? It doesn't even matter. Like we just sat here and talked about all the reasons why women here are fat and women overseas are not fat. What matters is the women overseas that these brothers are going for, they're not fat. At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. They're not fat.
No,
the ones here are fat.
The children
right?
now. We're talking about
we don't care.
That's what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about the weight. I was talking about single moms.
We don't care that she had access to more ice cream here than she does overseas. We don't. It's just the one here is more fat. Now, in terms of the behavior,
I understand that, but that was not my point, my brother. My point was the behavior going over there getting single moms. That's where y'all draw them to the wall at.
Right, but again, even to that point,
he said he made a difference due to the fact of their size, not the behavior.
He was taking an example. OG, he was taking an example. He was saying, okay, at least overseas, if she's a baby mama, she's not going to be overweight. And then there's a given that Pablo didn't even mention, that the women overseas are just generally more pleasant and more well behaved. That's just a given.
And I understand all of that. But I think when the discussion went to being a single mom, that was the quicksand he couldn't get out of.
What's the quicksand?
Because if you go, wait a minute. If you go pump and dump single moms over here, then what's the difference other than you talking about awake, whatever? You still forgetting the same thing. You said it earlier, my brother. You said pump and dump will not work in the long run. So I do listen to the show, Bernard.
Yeah, I said en masse. I'm not saying in the long run. So I'm not saying, first of all, I'm not saying in the long run. I'm saying en masse. That means like, one brother can decide to do this for his entire life if he wants to. I'm saying society as a whole, if we just have the society as a whole pumping and dumping, that's not, a solution. That's what I said. Now, that's a separate point.
I stand corrected.
Hold up. That's separate to Pablo's point. Pablo was essentially saying that even if you do make the argument that even the small minority of brothers who are going for the baby mama overseas, at least he doesn't have to deal with her being fat, and at least she's going to have a better attitude, and at least, so those are decent points to make. But at the end of the day, most of these brothers going overseas are not actually wifing up baby mamas anyway. So it's a straw man.
Well, y'all can call it straw man, because I look at it as behavior. And if it's a behavior problem in one country, it could become a behavior problem in that one. Because usually when you go to these type of countries, like he went from I to we. He said he had one person on his channel, and she said we. She can't speak for the whole fucking nation. It's her. And he made that as being some strong point that she said we. It's not we. It's her ass. So they might as well load up the bed and have 15 brothers over there in a queen size bed, and so it could be just her because she can't speak for the whole country.
So, OG, that's the American in you speaking right now, because I actually understood when she says that's the difference between America and a lot of these places overseas. Okay, is that the women overseas, there tends to be a lot of similarities in terms of their traditional upbringing, etc. There tends to be enough similarities that they can say we. Here in America, there's just a lot of chaos in America, right? So there's no we because every woman's doing her own damn thing. So that's the American.
Let's look at this point then. Let's look at this point. When I go to Costa Rica has a open policy when it comes.
Time out. What do you go to Costa Rica for?
Shoot a movie called Congo, and I went to Africa to shoot a movie called Congo.
Oh, okay.
Jose.
And I saw Congo when I was younger. I really liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think that movie aged well But
well, it's okay. It's okay. It's a Michael Crichton. You know, he made Jurassic Park. He always make the action at the end. So that's just the way he writes. But anyway, getting back to my point, Costa Rica don't have laws when it comes to prostitution. So a lot of women in that country will sound just like the woman he probably had on his show. She's a lady of the night, and that's what she is.
Be a prostitute.
Why the hell did you go to that extreme?
Wait,
no, it's not extreme. You let me finish my point. You'll see where it's not extreme.
Let me catch up on. Hold on, real quick. Yeah, let me catch up on the super chats. But yeah, he did just leap to calling that woman a prostitute. I'll let him explain himself. But Indigenous TV in the building with the super chat. He says 90% of black men in this space aren't red pill. If being such means you understand the reality around you, including female nature, then brothers would understand and accept. And they don't. I don't know what you mean by dudes don't understand and accept. I think they do for the most part. Like I don't get that. See, this is what's left out of there. If you're saying understanding and accepting means, what does understanding and accepting that mean to you? That's what's left out of there. Because then we will understand what you mean by brothers. Brothers are not understanding and accepting it. If you think understanding and accepting it would mean that they're saying that, hey, I'm going to live a pump and dump lifestyle until I'm 90. If that's under, and anybody who's not doing that, they're not understanding and accepting it, then yeah, it doesn't logically follow. Doesn't logically follow that just because somebody understands the true nature of reality, including female nature, that therefore they're going to pump and dump until they die. That doesn't necessarily follow. Chief BD in the building says, please drop this caller. How much to get him off the line? $100.
$100. 100.
Top Shelf C in the building. Just came back from the DR. I can assure you that they are healthy and actually eating healthier than us. They were surprised at my big meal orders. Yes, you see. That's you just highlighted another cultural thing. In America, we look at eating like, okay, our unhealthy people are fat. In other places, they're healthy. Their unhealthy people are skinny, are too skinny. Are skinny. If you look at the body mass index chart, there's a range where you're skinny, but you're in a healthy range. Then there's an unhealthy range, skinny. That's unhealthy for them. For us, unhealthy eating means eating too damn much and eating too many fattening foods all the goddamn time. That's what unhealthy means for us. So we don't even call healthy and unhealthy the same thing that other people do. Shout out to who we got. Chief BD in the building says, how much, Bernard? Let him go. I just said that, and I think we got a contestant to the Price is Right who
thank you.
Sorry, OG, you have to go. Any final words?
Yes. Thank you for the $100 for my brother.
All right, we got heard enough. Okay. All right, I had to let him go. Thank you, number 16, for the $100 super chat. Let me smooth it over with OG in the chat, in the back chat. He's still back there. Oh man. I can't let him up though. The rule is a rule. OG came up with that rule too, so he gone. I'm not letting him back up. Chief BD T minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He gone. All right.
Oh man, that just
Oh man. Who we got? Drew's World in the building, man. What you got?
What's up, Bernard? I just wanted to combat the whole women are like finer outside the United States. I don't know where you guys are going. Like, have you been to Houston, Texas? There's some fine ass black women there. And yeah, some fine ass baby mothers as well. I just don't understand that aspect of you have to go outside the United States to find a fit, feminine black woman. That concept to
That's
me is
that's not
kind of
that's not what
flawed
anybody said.
concept.
That's not
That,
the argument.
Compatibility.
that's not what anybody said. So let me clarify again. That's not what anybody said. Okay. Now, first of all, what the whole point was that um, if you do go overseas and then you end up dealing with a baby mama, she still tends to be better than what you're gonna find in America. Just because in America, generally speaking, okay, people are just fat. That's actually just a fact, by the way. People are just fat, or like most people in America. There's a pretty big overweight and obesity problem in America. Okay, so that's just a fact, right? And then when it comes to black women, I forget the exact stat, so I don't want to talk out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure it's over 70% of black women are overweight, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then the obese is slightly lower than that, right? But the point is, if the majority of your women are overweight in America, and then you go overseas, and the majority of the women there are not overweight, then that's the point being made there, is that at least on average, the woman you're going to be dealing with is not going to be like the fat people we have wobbling around in America. That's just a fact, bro. That's not somebody's opinion. That's not, that's just a fact.
But
The
I
the
hear what you're saying. But aren't you choosing who you deal with?
did
That's
you okay?
that's what
Okay,
I'm
wait
trying
a
to get
minute,
to.
go
You're choosing who you're
brother.
dealing with.
Let me get it. It's a more I'm paraphrasing Pablo here. It's a more target rich environment over there. I think that's all it is. It's just the percentages. If over here, if let's just say I'm just throwing out numbers. If 20% of the women over here are attractive and pleasant to be around, but over there 70% of the women are pleasant to be around, yes, you can stay here and you can choose among the 20. But if you go there to where 70% of them are attractive and pleasant to be around, you're just in a more target rich environment. I don't I don't see what the debate is there. Now, if somebody is saying the only way a man can get that is to go over there, savings mine is dead. You sent me an email a while back that I never responded to. That I got you. I've been busy, getting things up and running over here, but I got you. LJ. But uneducated lane with the super chat. I forgot what I was saying. Clue in the building with the $5 super chat. He said Bernard's OG boot is going to make him a millionaire. Yeah, I think so. I think we got something here. But okay. So yeah, I don't see the pushback to somebody saying that, hey, I got more options. I got better
Yeah, I'll
options.
concede that. I agree when the numbers are, in favor. So, like I said, I have nothing against the passport bros. I can understand that, but I'm just talking of like a lot of like my friends. We all live in the New York City area, so we have like a great melting pot of women. So that's maybe why my perspective is a little bit skewed.
Yeah, no, and when they talk about the women over here, I mean, sometimes I think it's a bit. Yeah, some of it is exaggerated, and some of it is spot on accurate. Um, I I don't want to be that guy who just beat my chest. And, well, I don't have them problems with women just popping my collar. I don't I get what I want out here, but I'm not gonna pretend like I'm every guy. That whatever results I had, and my results they weren't just perfect. I wasn't just a magnet for attractive women. No, I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I tell a lot of my stories of simping and having no game and all of the whole works and chicks wasting my time and money. But overall, whatever struggles I had, I'm just going to assume that there's some guy who had twice as many struggles as me. And if he fixed those problems or increased his percentages by getting a passport and messing with women overseas, then it just is what it is. It is what it is. Wizard X, you've been quiet for a minute. What you got, man? You got anything? Anything happened or was said earlier that you want to jump in and respond to? You were asking some good questions earlier and steering the conversation in a certain direction. If you feel the need to jump in or take it back anywhere, go ahead. You got it if you want it.
At the moment, I was just reading a bit. I found out that in Ireland, for example, single mothers actually shamed really harshly. They're shamed really harshly, and that's partly because of that country specifically is kind of still bound. They still preserve that religious Catholic aspect. So you know,
You trying to take us back to Jesus? I see what you're doing, man.
I'm not trying. I'm not trying to, but I'm just I'm just saying that I mean, I don't know. Because I'm never. We're never. I mean, I don't think we're going to see too much research in this, but because it's deemed probably it would be called sexist and whatnot. But when a lot of people complain about single motherhood or the rising birth rates of unwed relationships within Black community, I think that's the easiest solution. Point out like as we um became more progressive and less religious, then this is what happened. And in terms of what OG said with the I think they actually eat quite better than us, and even within the poor countries, because their food tends to be more organic and less filled with those chemicals and whatnot.
Yeah, I remember when I dated a chick from Kenya. She said the food here was horrible. She said the meat didn't taste like meat. She said when you eat some meat over there, that animal probably got killed that morning. It was like literally fresh meat. It
Yeah,
was it was fresh meat, and it was good. No, nothing processed in there. It was actually good. Now, because they don't mass produce their food in the factory and inject it with everything, well then they they're not able to feed every damn body and have people actually starve to death in third world countries. I mean, we know the unfortunate truth of that. But however, the food that they eat is actually healthier. That's just over here nobody starves to death, but we got obesity problems and high blood pressure and all kind of other health problems that come from the food that we eat. But so yeah, there's that indigenous TV in the building. Hopefully you respond to the follow up on your last super chat. Said feminism in Western cultures reached many women in other countries long before SYSBM had its root in the mind of the mad bus driver.
SYSBM. What would that mean?
You don't know what SYSBM means?
I think I've heard of it, but my mind is blank at the moment.
Oh, you're not new here. I've been seeing you for a while. This is the same Wizard X that been like how long you been to my show?
I've been here since I think last year, but my memory is going back. I'm going.
SYSBM is
Save yourself, Black man.
Oh, okay. I've seen it before, but I've never really questioned it.
Yeah. No, it's very ubiquitous throughout the space. That much is true. But to his point though, what is he saying? He says, these women have been getting westernized long before SYSBM. Yeah.
Bernard, why hasn't anybody asked this question? Okay, because I think this is a very important question. Okay, why is it SYSBM and not SYBM? What ninja did not know how to spell?
Wait, SYBM?
Yourself is one word.
What ninja did not know how to spell? Decided to create this acronym. Like I'm always wondering.
JB, get out of there.
Every time I should always looking at it like, God damn it, y'all couldn't even get that one right.
Leave it up to black people. Can't even get the acronym right. God damn. God damn. That's funny, man. That's legitimately funny. That's legitimately funny. I don't even know what to do with that. Well, we got somebody new on the panel. Snake Man in the building. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Good evening, Bernard Riley. How are you doing today?
Doing good.
I listen a little bit into the conversations. Always funny when the old OG comes in and rambles for 25 minutes straight without making a point.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is to the SYSBN brother at the top with the picture. is why do you think you always get so much pushback? Because when I give an example of my life, is that I'm Nigerian, but most of my life I lived in Germany. But I went back and forth between the two countries, and I myself had to admit that if I want to have a normal life, like my father raised me, to have a normal, basically, Nigerian life is a little bit of German spice in it. I cannot have any Western woman because any Western woman is compatible. So I naturally know that in some point I will marry a Nigerian wife, be it a Nigerian wife that grew up in Germany or someone of the motherland. But if I talk about this to my friend group, not many of them actually are Nigerian. There's no, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you not marrying one of the local women? What's wrong with the local women? They're like, okay, yeah, I understand it. You have that lifestyle. It's compatible. Everything is good. Why is it that when the brothers from America try to do it, it's like, no, you cannot do that. Our women, I don't get it.
Anybody want to respond? I don't even know who you were addressing. You said an SYSBM guy on the panel, and I don't even think nobody on the panel even fits that criteria. Maybe he was assuming JB was because he kind of argued in favor of it. So I'm forcing it on you, JB, to respond to what the gentleman is asking.
Well, yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm SYBM. So hold up. So what
Man. You know, out of all the SYSBM detractors, not even the detractors have acknowledged that don't make sense. That yourself is one word. No, it seems like some of their biggest critics should have responded with that. But okay.
Yeah, they could have had a field day with that. So your question, if I caught it correctly, was essentially why do passport bros get so much pushback? Is that what you're essentially asking?
Yeah, man, why is there a huge pushback? I don't get it.
Say what?
Why is why is the pushback? I don't get it. Why is there always when you bring it up, there's a massive pushback from the get go without any reason?
I think it's a feminist argument where even the guys who kind of like attack other men for doing this is because they're kind of a part of the matriarchy, especially within the Black community. That's my thought process on it.
I have a different view on this, and I may be wrong on this, but I tend to think that a lot of the people who are like who push back either because they don't travel enough themselves, or even like even OG. I know just from hearing him talk about his I think he said he used to be in the military. I don't know if I'm correct about this, but I do know he's mentioned he's traveled before, but he's not like traveling regularly. I think there's a certain aspect of it to me. Again, I could be wrong about this. That's just a certain level of either envy or just like not being able to do what the passport bros are doing. Right. Again, I could be wrong on this. Like, I'm not even trying to throw shade, but that's how it comes across to me because, like I said, I'm not a passport bro myself, but I see their point. Like when they make their points, I'm like, hey, I see your point, bro. Like I can't gaslight these brothers because I'm like, hey, I've been overseas and I see the way these women are compared to the women in America. I completely get what you're saying, bro. I see the treatment. Like I've been in Santiago and I see how brothers, like American brothers in Santiago and in Dominican Republic are being treated. And I'm just like, why wouldn't he want to just keep coming back here? You know what I'm saying? Compared to just being in America where your own woman is telling you she don't need you, right? I've seen it with my two eyes. Like I've seen it with my two eyes. So you don't even need to convince me. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen it. And I think for some, when I see some people push back, I don't get the pushback because I'm like, you're essentially gaslighting these brothers from their own reality, what they've seen. I've seen it. So even though I don't consider myself one of them, I know what they're saying is true. So I don't see any reason for pushing back. That's just, but I could be wrong on this. I could be wrong.
Even in Asia, the treatment's much better, and that's a much more developed country. Well, countries. East Asia, I mean.
Okay, no, I'm thankful for the answer because like I said, there was so many other panels in the manosphere, and most of the time especially when it's an open panel and the discussion is made and some of his brothers come on and the argument is started, it's from the get go, no, not acceptable, zero chance. And I myself think to myself, why not?
I think it's like it's a mixture of like a feminist and a pro-black argument where I think I heard recently like on O'Shea's channel where what's his name, the pro-black guy with the beard, what's his name?
You mean Umar Johnson?
Yeah, Umar Johnson, where he's saying that successful black men, are something like are entitled. I mean, not entitled. They black women deserve everything that black successful men have toward in terms of relationships. So I've heard arguments like that coming from men themselves.
But when it's a pro-black argument, it should be actually more refined as pro-black American.
Yes,
because most black people don't live in America.
Yeah.
Default.
Within the United States, but if you're experiencing this within other parts of the world, you would have to be more specific because I know, like for example, Nigerians, they want their men and women to be paired with other Nigerians. So that's more based on nationality than race. But since it's predominantly black, it's it's going to be most likely a black Nigerian. So if you're getting pushback from other people around the world, I mean from foreign blacks, I would say then it might be more convoluted.
Right. Yeah, I had stepped away for a minute, so I have no idea what y'all was talking about. But
nothing new.
Shout out to Young Dolph in the building. Says save yourself, simp black man. All right.
Was it a picture of young Adolf Hitler?
Yes, that's who that was.
My God.
Yeah, see, you caught it. You caught it. I didn't catch it. I did not catch it.
It's also a play. It's also a play on again too soon, but niggas gonna do what they gonna do. So
yeah, that's funny as hell. But yeah, we about to wrap this up. JB, don't go nowhere. Gotta talk to you about some stuff. But we got to wrap this thing on up. I'd like to thank everybody who came through today. Appreciate each and every one of you. I gave him a wrench too. I'm gonna have to unwrench him. Yeah, let me do that now. But he deserved a wrench for today because that was just the funniest YouTube name ever. I don't know who he is. He just can't be walking around here with a wrench indefinitely because he may come back with a different name tomorrow. So
well, he might also start timing out the small hat and get your ass in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No telling what could happen. So let me take his wrench, but he earned it because that was just too funny, man. That tickled the hell. It was funny to me because I didn't catch it either. Because I didn't figure it. Damn it! Now I can't even find him. Shoot. Now it's gone. Okay, so he gonna go overnight with it. No, I can figure out how to get him. Sir Ism, why the hell you say is this a simp panel? What the hell?
He is how he is. Sometimes I have the feelings people here think marriage equals simping. Perhaps in America.
If you get married, it does not mean that you're a simp, but a lot of simps do get married. So that I understand the connection. But no, I don't just say you're a simp because you got married. But like I said, a lot of simps do get married. But all right, we about to roll up out of here, y'all. Thank y'all, everybody, for coming through in the building. If you guys, no matter how you supported the stream in any way, shape, or form, whether you like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, the cash app, whatever you did to support the stream, I do appreciate you. And especially shout out to number 16, who paid the $100 to get OG off of the panel. Shout out to you. Appreciate it. And we are out of here. Peace.